Up and doing the bottle bank, and there's you lying up and having the big party yesterday.
Busy yesterday.
So yesterday you had the Hudson. Before we get on with it, happy birthday for today.
Happy birthday, Hudson.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Hudson. Happy birthday to you.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Daddy, you had a bit of a Nile party yesterday. What was the crack?
We were in King's Kingdom in Downings.
Were you?
Fantastic.
You had the FUN there.
Oh yeah, great fun.
Did you take off your shoes?
No, I didn't actually.
Did you jump in the ball pits?
No, I have done that, but I think he's too cool now. He doesn't want me,
Yeah.
It's like, you go away.
Yeah, he's Daddy's boy,
But
isn't he?
it's a great, it's great if you can to go to something like that there for a period of time. You don't have to clean up the house. You don't have to hire anything in.
But Daddy, listen to me. The birthday party is today. You're going to have all the cleaning up to do today.
I'm kind of all done and dusted now.
No, excuse me. Daddy has to pick up the pieces. Look, come on, you finish your 12. I want balloons blown up.
I don't finish at 12. Do people not understand that?
Oh, no, Daddy, come on. I know you say, I never switch off. My ears are always on the ground.
That's it, right?
Yeah, well, Daddy, you play the fiddle. Rightly.
All right.
Come here, so for today then, there's a bit of a night party today then.
Aye, well, we think amongst ourselves.
Aye, so have a great day.
Yesterday was lovely, and today's just the icing on the cake, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely.
Thanks, Lee.
You might bring me in a piece of cake even though I can't eat it.
I'll take a wee recording of that and play it to him when it might matter.
No, he's listening today, you see, at 10 to 9.
All right.
See, I know more about your son than you. Come here, good luck, have a good show, right?
Thanks very much, Lee. You're the best. All right, it is 9 o'clock and a minute past 9 on this Monday morning. Let's get a news update now, and it's over to Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. The Public Expenditure Minister admits tariffs from the US on the EU would represent a significant risk to the Irish economy. Trade is set to be one of the major talking points as the Taoiseach meets US President Donald Trump next month. Trump has threatened sanctions on the EU as early as April. Public Expenditure Minister Jack Chambers says the St Patrick's Day summit will be very important.
Tariffs would represent a significant risk to both the Irish economy and the EU, but also to the US economy as well. So I think having that cooperative discussion with the US administration promoting international trade is really important for Ireland and reflect the broader prosperity that lowering tariffs actually brings citizens.
Repainting road markings is a simple solution to reducing the number of crashes on Donegal roads. That's according to Councillor Donald Coyle, who has repeatedly called for line markings that have faded to be reinstalled. He believes a recent crash on Listillion Road in Letterkenny could have been prevented if the proper markings were in place. Donegal County Council says the carrying out of road markings is dependent on funding allocations. Councillor Coyle says works need to be carried out as a matter of urgency, particularly at busy junctions.
There was a man rang me. He says, you could not make out the lines on the Polestar at night. And for anybody who's not used to coming on to the Polestar, the lines are vital. So look at there's a lot of work to be done in relation to line markings.
Donegal has received just over €2 million from the Community Recognition Fund. 27 projects across the county are to share in the allocation, which supports community infrastructure and facilities in areas hosting significant numbers of arrivals from Ukraine and other countries. €200,000 has been announced for seating and an auditorium refurbishment at Ingreenan Theatre in Letterkenny, while €200,000 has also been allocated to the Donegal Family Resource Centre for the construction of a multi-purpose building. Junior Sports and Postal Policy Minister Charlie McConlogue says works are expected to begin on the ground in the coming months.
Most of this work now will be carried out over the course of the year ahead. It's an annual fund and one that many of our community organisations really look and very much sought after. The organisations who would have applied for this would have plans in place and would be hoping to receive the funding to be able to progress it now. And now with the confirmation of this funding today, they've been in a position to actually get on with that work.
Finally, for weather, a blustery day with good spells of sunshine and well-scattered showers this morning. More widespread heavy showers will develop this afternoon, some of hail with scattered thunderstorms. Highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for now. We'll be back with news again at 10 o'clock. Until then, good morning.
Yeah, we're good mates, yeah. Look, I'm always there for him, 100%, through thick and thin. And sure, he likes having me around. Anytime he's going out, I'll get the shout, And someday, I'll probably kill him.
Smoking isn't the friend you think it is. Quit for 28 days and start taking back control. Find out how at quit.ie or free phone 1800 201 203 from the HSE.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello and a very good morning. It is just approaching 5 minutes past 9 on this Monday, the 24th of February 2025. How are you all keeping? I do hope you're very well indeed. How was your weekend? Let us know. Hopefully it was really good for you, but maybe there's something that you need us to cast our attention onto. All of your business today comes in on the usual numbers: 086 60 25,000, 086 60 25,000. That's for WhatsApps and texts. If you want to give us a call, it's 07491 25,000. Donna Marie Doherty looking after the show this week, ably assisted by Shannon as well. They're available for you on 07491 25,000. And if you prefer to email, it's comments@highlandradio.com, and that's good if you're listening to the podcast. If you're listening to us with the overnight replay, we want to hear your views whenever you're listening, and we can pick up your emails or your WhatsApps for that matter and include them on the next live show. And if you want to watch the programme, if you're at home on your Fire Stick or Smart TV, just open the YouTube app and slap in Highland Radio Ireland, and we're on Facebook, our Facebook pages, and on the X platform. A look at the papers this morning. The Derry People Donegal News. Letterkenny traffic to be discussed at consultation. Traffic flow concerns will be to the fore at a public consultation in Letterkenny tomorrow. Residents, the public and other interested parties are being urged to attend the consultation event in the vestry from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. to share their views on Donegal County Council's plans for two proposed developments under the Letterkenny Active Travel projects. Circular Road Active Travel Scheme and Ballyrain Road Active Travel Scheme will be discussed at the event. The Chamber has recently set up a subcommittee to look specifically at traffic flows. The proposed developments for Circular Road include the creation of two-way cycle facilities on the north side of the carriageway, the removal of the existing centre hatching and the reduction of the carriageway width to 6.5 metres. A controversial enough move for some people who use that road that runs up and past the front door, the front entrance of Letterkenny University Hospital. Additionally, the plans feature upgraded pedestrian and cycle crossings along with traffic calming measures and the reduced junction radius at side roads on the Ballyrain Road. Donegal County Council plan on removing the existing lineated cycle lanes. These are planning terms here now, and installing segregated one-way cycle lanes along the R940. Anyway, you can read much more about that in the paper. But if you're interested in that and for what consultation is worth, you can get along to that consultation at the vestry tomorrow if you're interested, as I mentioned. The Derry News this morning. Derry's historic Bishop Street Courthouse is to undergo a £2 million modernisation, which is expected to take up to 8 years to complete. The Department of Justice has invited tenders for the project described as the refurbishment. On to the nationals now, starting with the Irish Independent, and we discussed this on the show. This is a changing of the guard, so to speak, a changing of the company responsible for providing the rescue helicopter services in this country. We know how reliant we are, given our proximity to specialist spaces or even hospitals on our islands and what have you. So there is a change in the company that is operating them, and there's been some controversy about staff and the speed of the changeover. There are lots of vested interests with concerns in relation to this. Search and Rescue, SAR, crew with the state's 4 Irish Coast Guard helicopters bases have expressed fears that lives are being put at risk by the tight transition to a new operator and new type of aircraft. As I say, we did this exact story 2 weeks ago. A report by SAR technical air crew comprising winch teams and paramedics cites 2 instances when rushed transition was identified by investigators as a factor in fatal helicopter crashes. The report has been seen by the Irish Independent. Bristow Ireland is currently running a transition programme to take over all 4 SAR bases from CHC Ireland, with existing crews training in a new type of helicopter by June 30th. However, the transition has already faced significant setbacks and several accidents have occurred during training. Bristow Ireland, which confirmed one incident as minor, said training and operating in dynamic environments means minor injuries can occur. The two instances SAR technical air crews refer to in their report happened in Norway in February and last year and off County Waterford in July 1999. They're just worried at the speed in which things are changing, and very sadly, we all mourned the loss of a helicopter crew. I'm not saying attributing any reason or blame to that, but I think we know it's really, really important that that is done right, even if it takes a little more time, perhaps. The Irish Times, I'm not saying it's a funny one, but I'm not sure what use these systems might be to Ukraine. I didn't even know we had them. But anyway, the government is to donate a substantial portion of Ireland's ageing air defence system to protect towns and small cities in Ukraine as Russia's invasion enters its third year. The transfer of the Giraffe Mark IV radar systems forms part of the government's commitment to assist Ukraine with non-lethal military equipment and training. So I think we've trained them. We've sent over things like bulletproof vests, and now we're sending over defence systems. Does that edge into a compromise on neutrality if it's in terms of defence or training? Official sources said yesterday the move was intended to show continued solidarity with Ukraine at a time when the government of Volodymyr Zelensky is coming under pressure from the Trump administration in Washington, which wants to reach a deal with Russia on ending the war. Ireland is expected to give strong support to Ukraine at meetings in both Brussels and at the United Nations in New York today, the third anniversary of the Russian invasion. On to the Irish Daily Mail now, and their story, or one of their stories, is about Irish-US relations. Unease is growing within government that Donald Trump's White House is preparing a bracing diplomatic snub on St. Patrick's Day celebrations to send key signals on Gaza, Ukraine and trade tariffs. So this is effectively saying we can go to Brussels and we can go to the UN and we can support Ukraine and we can send over defence equipment and what have you. But at what cost? What diplomatic, political cost to our relationship with the United States? The concerns come as a Business Post poll result shows where the voters are evenly split on whether Ireland should build closer ties with Donald Trump or take a strong anti-American stance. Almost 4 in 10, 38% of people favour forging closer ties compared to 39% who said they favoured a tougher stance, the Red C poll of 1,029 adults found. So, of the 1,000 odd people surveyed, 38% believe we should be forging closer ties with Donald Trump. 39% thinks we should take a tough stance. I mean, what kind of a tough stance can tiny little Ireland take against the US? But anyway, that seems to be what 4 out of 10 of you want. Concern is growing in government, though, that what one source termed a barrage of anti-American sentiment in RTE and amongst academics mean America may not give us the option to build the relationship. There is in the media that I observe as a radio listener or a consumer, there is a default position that Donald Trump is bad. And I'm not saying if he's good or bad, don't get me wrong, but there is just this position that he must be bad, or what he says is wrong, or what he says is anti-Europe, or it's anti-Ireland, or it's anti-Ukraine, or it's anti-Palestine, or what have you. That is sort of the starting point of any line of questioning, really, as it relates to Donald Trump, is what I hear, not just in the Irish press, but in the British press and the European press. It's just the default position that Donald Trump is bad. And that's going to influence what people say in surveys, of course. And then, Donald Trump's a very divisive character, so you might be a Republican supporter, you might be a Democratic supporter. If you're asked in this poll, are you really judging it based on your views of Donald Trump or actually the consequences of a worsened relationship with the US? I suspect a lot of these polls are answered by people making an emotional decision based on what they think of Donald Trump, to be honest with you. And for an entire country that's so small and has such an open economy, potentially quite dangerous. Reading on, concern is growing in government, though, that I'll read on here. Sorry, I've read that already. The government's failure to announce a final schedule for the St. Patrick's Day trip has increased unease about America's plans. One experienced government source said these Patrick's Day meetings come with a blizzard of papers on security, logistics and protocol. It normally takes a month. The fact that nothing has been finalised yet is sending a distinctly chilly message. And I said it on the Friday panel on Friday, and I'll say it again. I wouldn't be surprised if Ireland is sent home. Embarrassed or with its tails between its legs off the back of those visits. Many of you, of course, keeping a very close eye over the weekend on the health of Pope Francis. And when we spoke on his health on Thursday, his situation was critical and the prognosis uncertain. And it seems to have worsened somewhat from that, though they're not saying that. It would appear he also has further infections. And he has spoken to the public. Ailing Pope Francis has appealed for prayers from his sickbed amid growing health fears. The Vatican last night said he remained in a critical condition after recent breathing difficulties and announced he was also suffering from mild kidney failure. Now, this is a relatively frail man of very advanced years, and it would be quite worrying when you start hearing of issues that are affecting, various organs in his body. A spokesperson stressed the kidney problem is currently under control and the pontiff had not shown further respiratory issues since the previous day. They said his prognosis is still guarded because of the complexity of his clinical condition. He was said to be suffering a prolonged asthmatic respiratory crisis linked to double pneumonia and a complex lung infection. So the next wee while is going to be incredibly important, no doubt about that. Back to the US, and I mentioned this because it is perhaps something some of you out there feel should happen here, but it's very controversial, and it's Elon Musk again. He has given US federal workers 48 hours to explain what they accomplished last week or risk losing their jobs. The move sparked confusion as President Donald Trump's cost-cutting chief expands his crusade to slash the size of the federal government. Musk, who is head of efficiency department Doge, made the request on X on Saturday, and emails have since gone out to all of these workers. Consistent with President Donald Trump's instructions, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. It's a simple enough request, is it, on the face of it? I've seen something like this. Before. I don't think this is terribly unusual. I seem to remember one time here, or maybe it was a previous employee, a previous employer. I can't quite remember, but it was part of new contracts that were being drawn up, and you were asked to describe your working day. So you come in at a certain time, you finish at a certain time. What do you do over the course of that day? I suppose in a way it's an interesting question, isn't it? Because you have to explain what you do, and that's in a private company. Is it the worst idea in the world? I'm sorry to upset you if you are a civil servant in this country, but to sort of explain what you do. And I'm thinking maybe not, your rank and files that we deal with here in offices around the county. We all know what they do, but further up the chain in some of these big organisations like the HSE, for an example, it would be interesting to know what their day-to-day work is and what they do, because I remember a story, and I can verify the story of someone that was going on annual leave within a significant organisation, a public organisation, and their line manager couldn't replace them as such because they didn't know specifically what they did to find somebody else to do what they did. Now, that's not saying they weren't productive, but it should be pretty clear, shouldn't it? But anyway, consistent with President Donald Trump's instructions, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. Employees received an email saying, please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullet points of what you accomplished last week and copy to your manager. Now, there's been some quite resistance to this. A few departments say not to engage with this, but as I say, I think if someone in this government came out and said that, I think a lot of people might think it's not the worst thing in the world. The Irish Daily Mirror, finally, a new study has found that swans have high rates of antibiotic-resistant bacteria similar to superbugs, which affect humans. The findings indicate the animals living in urban waterways can act as a reservoir for pathogens, multi-drug resistant bacteria, including some resistance to antibiotics. The study by the University of Galway revealed swans in Dublin and Kildare frequently carry antimicrobial resistant bacteria in their guts, similar to those that cause difficult to treat infections in humans. And the only reason I read that was because I saw a dead swan in a lake there the other day. I'm not saying why it died or what have you. Okay, that was a run through some of the stories in some of the papers today. If you have anything to say in relation to any of that, get in touch with us, please. I'd love to hear from you. The direct line into the studio here for WhatsApps and texts 08660 25000. If it suits you better to speak your point of view, you can send a WhatsApp message, by the way, and do it that way. Or give us a call on 07491 25000, and you can email us as well. There's no end of ways for you to get in touch, and we want you to make sure you do, because your voice incredibly important to us.
Daily newspapers are courtesy of Cosgrove, Centra and Diner, Mountaintop, Letterkenny.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
To childproof your home, get down on your hands and knees to see what your toddler sees. Go from room to room and look for dangers. Do the same outside. Visit mychild.ie for advice on pregnancy, baby and toddler health.
Right Price Tiles, wood flooring and bathware are 27 years old, and to celebrate, we're offering up to 70% off everything in store. That's right, a massive birthday sale with up to 70% off all tiles, wood flooring and bathware. Everything's in stock. Right Price Tiles, wood flooring and bathware, up to 70% off birthday sale now on.
Whether they're on holiday, watching TV, eating a family meal.
Put it down.
It seems teenagers just refuse to put down their phones. But help is at hand.
Because Fundamania is in Derry.
Real thrills, real fun, outside in the fresh air.
Fundamania Derry at the Brunswick Movie Bowl from February 28th to March 17th.
Choose regular, junior or family wristbands. Turn screen time into scream time. Details at fundamania.co.uk.
A public interest message from Donegal County Council. Donegal County Museum invites you to our latest exhibition, Moran and All, which examines women's lives between 1922 and 1980 under themes such as healthcare, politics, education and home life. The exhibition explores how women's rights were eroded under the new Irish Free State and how women fought to regain these rights over many decades. It also shines a light on some of the female trailblazers from Donegal in areas such as medicine, science and the arts. The museum is located on the High Road in Letterkenny and admission is free. Telephone 074 912 4613. Email museum@donegalcoco.ie or find us on Facebook. Donegal County Council, preserving our heritage.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is?
The time's 22 minutes past 9. We're joined on the programme now by, if I can get my headphones sorted, Jack Sims, who's spokesperson for Protestants Against the Gaelic Language. Good morning, Jack.
Good morning, how are you?
Grand on Walter Gamar.
Pardon?
How are you?
I'm very well, yes.
Good stuff, okay. Jack, Protestants Against the Gaelic Language, on behalf of how many people do you think you speak for?
Well, the Protestant population in the Republic has gone down from 9% down to 2% because of the discrimination against them, mainly in jobs. You know, no Protestants, the Irish language is used to stop Protestants to get into the civil service, stopping to get into RTE, of course, is a big comment that discriminates against Protestants. And the Irish language, we got a bit of a reprieve in the 80s and 90s, but now the big attack of the Irish language is on us again.
And how is it? How is the promotion of the Irish language in Ireland? How is that disadvantaging? How is that disadvantaging Protestants? Because I'm sure there are Protestants that speak Irish, Jack.
Yes, but it doesn't. Oh, yes, you're right. It doesn't only disadvantage others. It disadvantages all Irish people from a non-Gaelic background. If you look at RTE, they are headquartered in Dublin. Yes, a huge proportion of their staff are from the west of Ireland. That's outright discrimination, but nobody calls it out. You know, we are faced with increased now jobs being held for Irish language speakers in the civil service. In the north of Ireland, a lot of the local councils are appointing Irish language officers and translators. All those, no Protestants will get those jobs. They're all going to Sinn Féin supporters. Fianna Fáil did that in the Republic here from 1932 to 2011. They reward their own supporters with these jobs and excluded Protestants and other people that weren't Gaelic speakers, you know.
And Jack, like, say, for instance, would you have a view on the position of Northern Ireland, the 6 counties? Do you believe it should be part of Ireland or part of Britain?
We think it should be what the people want, but we think a border poll is very unjust because you can hold a border. The Protestants can win the border poll. Then you have another one, and you're beaten down till they eventually have to agree.
My point is so you don't want what would be a democratic process that could return the 6 counties to Ireland. In other words, your view. No, but I'm not being argumentative, Jack. But I'm just trying to point out. So your view is disadvantaging the majority of people, or at least 50% of people in Northern Ireland, and now you want sort of 2% of the people of the Republic of Ireland to sort of dictate the language policy of the nation. It's a bit sort of all your own way wherever you are, isn't it?
No, wait now. For 100 years, the government has tried to force the Irish language on the Irish people.
But it's Ireland.
Through bribery, jobbery, and all the privileges they give to the Irish language people. Despite that, the Irish people have refused to learn the language. They refuse to speak the language. So the government are going against the will of the Irish people by forcing the Irish language on them. For an example would be, you're a radio station, I don't know where you get the funding, but we know the Dublin local radio stations are all now funded by the Gaelic language, and the result is they have banned us from their radio stations. So congratulations that you haven't. And the one paper that hasn't banned us, we're banned from all the newspapers in the Republic as well, because they have Gaelic funding, but we're not banned from the Irish News in the north, because they are not getting a Gaelic language funding, you know. So we're being discriminated in many ways, other than in jobs.
Like I know you live in Ireland, okay? So you're entitled to your opinion on Ireland, of course. But do you think do you think English speakers in Spain, for an example, would be justified in calling for Spanish to be done away with? Because it's unfair to the unfair to the expats, isn't it? That you can't speak.
Of course not. No, that's ridiculous.
So why should we not favour our own language in this country?
It's not our own language. How many Irish people come from a Gaelic language background?
But you
my people come from Tom Haggard in Wexford, and their ancestral language was Yola. You know. Gaelic wasn't spoken in every part of Ireland. Dublin, the Gaelic was never spoken in Dublin.
Never.
It was Viking, it was English. Not in Dublin City, no, never. You look at the records going back to 1200, and you look at the Lord Mayors and everything in English. You know, all the names of all the workers in English.
Are you a proud Irishman, Jack?
I am. I love Ireland.
And what makes you Irish? What makes you Irish? What's your Irishness?
Because I've lived in Ireland all my life, and I don't ever leave the country. You know, so I love the land.
But culturally, what makes you Irish? Do you feel?
My idea of Irish culture is not Gaelic.
No, but I know, but I want to get a sense of. Because it's about defending a country's culture.
All our great writers, Sean O'Casey, J.M. Singh, George Bernard Shaw. You know, all these great writers. That's what I feel is our culture, not this Gaelic stuff. You know.
Okay. And how is it? Just the use of language. How is it stopping non-Irish speakers getting jobs? Because you can see at the moment, say for instance in Garda Síochána, they're spending a fortune, busting a gut, trying to hire people that aren't even born Irish, right? So I can't see where you're being disadvantaged.
You mentioned the Garda. Yeah. You mentioned the Garda. Well, Ono Duffy, when he set up the Garda, he instructed, in 1938 he issued an order saying any Garda that can't speak Irish by the end of December will be dismissed. He then admitted, he said, more than half the people who are in this Garda force would never be here only for they have a knowledge of
But that's not the way it is now.
I'm not familiar with it. We don't have any Guards members that are advising us. But in RTE and in the civil service, there is huge discrimination against Protestants and against Irish people that are not from a Gaelic background.
Really? Do you believe that?
What?
You actually believe that?
I know that. That's why we were set up. Members, we were originally set up to get members. We had some members who were in poor circumstances, and they were hoping to get compensation for being discriminated against.
There is a strong argument, Jack, and I say this with absolute respect, that the spokesperson for Protestants Against the Gaelic Language, the group of individuals that they're doing the most harm to are Protestants. You know what I mean? Because you seem to have positioned yourself to be speaking on behalf of all Protestants, but I know people from all different backgrounds and religions, and I don't see how their views would align with yours. Do you know what I mean? Are you not concerned that you're actually doing Protestants a disservice with this campaign?
Well, we have to represent our members.
How many members have you got, Jack?
Well, it wouldn't be huge, and part of the reason it isn't huge, we had what do we call it, an attack of our website. A lot of members have been threatened, so we do have some. When that happened, we had some of our members resign. I was also questioned by the PSNI. They said my leaflet was a hate crime. Now, I went through it with them, and then they had to admit it wasn't a hate crime, But members don't like being, they don't like Garda or PSNI officers coming up to their houses and questioning them, So that means we have quite a lot of members that don't want to go public. We have a lot of people actually tell us to take the names off our lists because they're being hacked,
But
so
then
I say we have two branches.
Yeah.
And we hope to have we have a branch in Wexford and we have another branch in Dublin.
All right.
We hope to have yeah.
And your declared membership is what? A couple of hundred?
No, I'd like to say it's less than that, but enough to hold about three branches.
Aye, but do you not feel, Jack, you're barking up the wrong tree here? What a hill to die on! I mean, why not just allow a country to foster and try and grow its own language? I mean, I don't understand.
Because it's not. Yeah, but because it's a fake language. It's a fake language. It's not the language of the Irish people.
It is. It's the Gaelic language. I mean, you seem to time hop between parts of history that suits your narrative, right? So you'll probably go back to you'll probably go back to Vikings now, and then you'll go back 20 years to something else, and 40. You're hopping through history to fit your narrative here.
Well, I'm going to go back to history. In the 1973 election, the Irish language played quite a big part, and the LFM, they told the Irish people, say every party in the Irish state is against compulsory Irish except for Fianna Fáil, and they were telling people not, and Fianna Fáil lost that election. Now that was part of the reason why, it wasn't the main part, but it was part of the reason why Fianna Fáil lost that election. So the Irish people are not as supportive as you think, but because there's an Irish language commissioner, that's discrimination against all English speakers. He is fighting to get privileges.
No, how is that discrimination?
Wait now, don't listen to me now.
English is the most spoken language. Polish is more spoken in this country, or Chinese by some studies, than the Irish languages.
Then why are you pushing the Irish language on people?
Because we're in Ireland. It's because we're in Ireland. It's the language of the country.
It's not the language of the country. Well, that's our contention.
So at what point did Ireland be perceived as Irish be perceived as the language of the country?
The Irish people gave up the Irish language of their own free will in the exact same way as
their
in
own
this
free
century.
will. That's like saying we gave up the 6 counties of our own free will, isn't it?
In the exact same way as the Irish people this century gave up the Catholic religion. They used to love it, but they gave it up because they wanted to modernise. And the Irish people wanted to modernise, and they gave up the Irish language. The English language has brought us great wealth. We're the only English-speaking country in Europe. That has been a big
EU,
part of Ireland's success.
I think you mean in the EU.
Yes, the EU. If the government had its way in the 1940s and we had converted over to Irish as they wanted at that time, we wouldn't have all these American companies giving us all this money now. We'd be still a poor, backward place. That's why a lot of people don't like the Irish language.
Again, Jack, listen, I mean, I think your views are off the wall. But what I'll say is, again, if I were a Protestant listening to this, and as I say, there's many Protestants living in Gaeltacht areas, fluent in the language, very proud of it, see it's part of their culture and their heritage. And
if they are, they're very foolish because they're helping their own downfall. Because the majority, the reason for the revival of the Irish language is nationalism, to beat down Protestants and to make sure they don't get good jobs. That's the real reason for the reviving of the Irish language.
And so what statistically, statistically, Jack? So are you saying that Protestant people in the Republic of Ireland are more likely to be more impoverished, to have less of an income, to have less assets, to have less opportunities? Is that what you're saying?
No, they're not. No, but they're a disadvantage. If you're going for a job and then you see,
you keep going back to jobs. I'm asking you, generally speaking,
jobs where discrimination has been. That's what I know. Our Protestants have emigrated because there's no opportunity.
But what I'm saying is, do you believe that in the Republic of Ireland and the North, for that matter, that Protestants are disadvantaged? They're underprivileged. They don't have.
I never said underprivileged. No, I don't.
So what?
I think they're becoming in the North. They're beginning to become disadvantaged in the North.
You mean they're beginning to become a minority? You mean in terms of
your local council has an Irish language officer, and can a Protestant get that job? No, you have to be a Sinn Féin supporter to get that job.
A Protestant Irish speaker could get that job. Of course they could. So you don't know the
only
religion.
but only if he was a Sinn Féin supporter.
A Sinn Féin supporter? But Sinn Féin aren't even in power. Are you on about in the North?
I'm talking about the North.
Let me ask you a question, Jack. Right? What is? Would you concede that? When Northern Ireland was being established in inverted commas, I'm not using exactly historical situations, would you concede that it was designed in such a way that if there ever was a vote, that the Protestant vote would always defeat the Catholic vote? In other words, it was set up in such a way to best ensure it maintained its status as part of the United Kingdom. Would you you're quoting history left, right, and centre?
I would agree with that.
You would agree with that. And now you seem a bit pissed off. Now you seem a bit upset that the population balance is turning in a way where Protestants might lose, or not Protestants actually. Sorry, that's terrible. What I'm saying is that Unionists might sort of lose that vote. You're not happy with that either.
Well, it's naturally I'm going to have I don't have a huge. Naturally, I'm going to have some sympathy with Protestants in the North. Their population is declining because we know it happened to us. Our population declined. But the thing is, you have an Irish language officer down here. He is fighting to get privileges for Irish language speakers.
Yeah.
Every privilege he gets for Irish language speaker is a disadvantage to English language speakers. When your child goes to university and doesn't get the course they want, that's probably because somebody got 10% extra bonus marks because they're from a Gaelic-speaking family. That's unfair. That affects all Irish people, not only just Protestants. Discrimination is wrong, and it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, again.
So why have we got an Irish language officer doing that?
Okay, but
he's unaccountable.
But what
he's
do you
unelected.
think? What do you think the root cause of honestly now, over the course of the last, let's say, 500-600 years, what would you say the root cause of the elimination or the reduction in those speaking Irish was? If you had to guess, as someone who, what thing happened? Do you think that would it be British rule? Would it be British rule, Jack?
Of course, it would be British rule, but it would be also the fact that.
So you're trying to just finish that job off, aren't you? You're just trying to finish off through British rule. But listen to me. Listen to me.
Why are you forcing it on us?
No one's forcing anything on you. No one's forcing anything
on
anyone.
No, wait now.
Do you want to be the Irish language officer? You can't even speak Irish, Jack. Do you want to be the Irish language officer? I can make a few calls, but you can't speak Irish. I can't speak Irish. I couldn't become the Irish language officer. You want to? You don't like? You don't want a job there.
The only reason that job has been created is to give jobs to Sinn Féin people. That's why they're doing it.
To Sinn Féin people.
Not at all. Fianna Fáil did that from 1930
But you're
to
trying.
2011.
It sounds to me like you're just trying to finish off the job that we're only recovering from now that the British were doing for hundreds of years.
Well, a lot of people tell me, the Irish language was suppressed. The British had great respect for the Gaelic language. They never changed. Hardly a place name did they ever change. They just pronounced it a bit differently, but they never changed the name.
British rule wasn't about signposts, said Jack. Don't be silly.
What I'm saying is the British got rid of Irish measurements and they got rid of Irish time because they wanted the railways to work so everyone had the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, and there was the same reason that the Irish language became disadvantaged, right? Because it was you could communicate with much more people if you spoke English than you could if you spoke Irish.
Well, 40% of the population.
And also,
40%.
Should the Americans?
Jack, 40% of the population of this country the Republic can speak Irish. 40%.
Well,
that's a big. Well, it's not. I don't care if you agree or not. It's
because right now, if you couldn't speak
because
Irish,
they want to be a language officer.
You couldn't get into university if you didn't speak Irish. You couldn't get any job in the civil service. So that's why they speak Irish. They don't do it willingly.
What?
Nobody speaks Irish willingly.
That's ridiculous, Jack. Listen. It started up. This conversation started silly, and it's descended into the ridiculous. 40% of people. I'm listening to you.
If the Irish language is so good, why does it have to be compulsory?
Because it's part of. No, it's not compulsory.
Right now, my children went to school. They had to learn Irish.
What school?
They had to learn Irish. They had no choice.
Really? Because there's a big problem with an incredibly high level of students seeking an exemption from speaking Irish.
Why should they have to seek an exemption?
I would love you to go. I just would love you to go into Germany or Spain or France or one of these countries and sort of try and browbeat people to not speaking their native language or not encouraging it. There's an awful lot of work to be undone from the history that we have in this country. And, that takes time. And there should be no shame. You should be proud of the Irish language, Jack, if you're proud of Ireland.
I don't care much about the Irish language, but I don't want to be forced on us against our will, and I don't want it to be used as discrimination. Why should Irish language people have all these privileges that other people don't have? Why should they?
I still don't know what privileges you're talking of.
Well, okay, when they're getting into university, they get 10% extra marks above anybody else.
For having another language? For having another language?
No, if an Irish person does mathematics in the Leaving Cert, an Irish language person, he gets 10% extra bonus.
Yes.
Than
being fluent in two languages.
The ordinary Irish person beside him. That's discrimination, and it's very wrong.
Really?
And we want to end this kind of discrimination. We want equality. And most countries in the world think equality is better than discrimination.
I don't think so. I think most people are proud to be from the country that they're from and would never actively.
So you think it's all right to discriminate people? Think it's all right to discriminate against certain people?
You're part of a secret organisation. That's how popular your opinion is. Well, you've already said that members want their names taken off literature. It's a covert secret organisation.
Because you use violence to support your language. That's why you use violence against people and threaten people. That's why a lot of people are afraid to speak out against the Gaelic. When Gal Fitzgerald in 1973, he said it was disgraceful, the compulsory Irish. He also admitted that the Irish state was sectarian, and he started a constitutional crusade.
I just love how you dip into history in a very a la carte fashion. I don't.
I dip into history to try and show you that what you're telling us about Irish history is not true.
All right, okay. Jack, I'm not going to lie to you. I can't see your movement growing. I think some of the greatest resistance from it will be from people of all different communities, including the Protestant community, who many speak Irish, very proud to be. They can be proud to be. They could be a unionist and still be proud to speak Irish. You know what I mean? It's a. We live in a different world now.
Of course you can.
I think you're trying to drag us back into the dark ages, Jack. But I appreciate your time.
No, no, that's exactly what I think. You're trying to drag Ireland back down to the past of division and extreme nationalism. That you think that you want to put signs in Gaelic everywhere. You can't get a train in this country without the Gaelic language. You'll be blasted out at you all the time.
Yes.
And you say,
does that bother you? Does that bother you?
What? Well, it would annoy me very much.
Really,
yes.
40% of the population being able to understand.
Well, I don't agree with. I don't.
But you see, you've been. To be honest with you,
are speaking. They're speaking because it's compulsory, not because they want to.
Really. So as soon as I give you a stat and you just come out with a harebrained reason as to why it can't be true, that they will declare in a census form that they can speak Irish because they've been browbeaten into doing so.
No. What I'm saying is 40% might claim to speak Irish, but it doesn't mean they do. Obviously you're not going. You're going. People like to boast a little. But generally, why only 40%? 100 years you've been trying to force the language on the Irish people, and you've only got 40% at this stage. That's a very poor performance.
Yeah, well, Jack, you're part of a very, very small group who have to hide their point of view.
Growing.
So I think that's a little bit of a.
Well, the LFM in the 1960s was set up, and they were small when they started.
65 years ago.
Aim.
Okay.
What? Yeah,
that's 65 years ago.
Yeah, well, we're inspired a bit by what they did, and we hope we can do the same.
All right. I don't think you're going to be very successful, Jack, with all due respect to you.
Well, I hope I hope we can prove you wrong. Thanks for talking to me. Thank you very much.
Jack Sims, spokesperson for Protestants Against the Gaelic Language.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
You can have it all in 2025 with the new Nissan Qashqai with e-Power. Relaxation and excitement. Spacious and sleek. Safe, smooth, serene, and thrilling, adventurous, and of course efficient. Make 2025 a hybrid year with the new Nissan Qashqai with e-Power. Hybrid driving reinvented. Nissan. Defy ordinary. Terms and conditions apply.
Discover the ultimate escape at the Spa at Orchids, the Holyrood Hotel, Bundoran, nominated for Spa Experience of the Year 2024 by the Irish Hotel Awards. Indulge in an oriental bamboo massage, reflexology, or choose from our signature therapies, skin glowing facials and invigorating body treatments. Couples can unwind together in twin treatment rooms or share a peaceful moment in the secret garden with outdoor hot tub. The Spa at Orchids, open daily. To buy a gift voucher or reserve your appointment, visit holyroodhotel.com.
Attention Donegal, Derry and Tyrone. PD Bathrooms and Tiles are proud to unveil our newest and most stunning showroom in Lisfannon Business Park, Buncrana. Located right opposite the Northwest Golf Course, we offer unbeatable quality and incredible value. For 30 years, we've been the experts in total refits, stocking and serving as the sole agent for many top brands. Visit us today and transform your space with the finest bathroom and tile solutions. Telephone 93 95 884. PD Bathrooms and Tiles, where excellence meets value. Lisfannon Business Park, Buncrana, F93H10F.
Ready to transform your smile? Discover the magic of Blue Poppy Dental in Letterkenny and Donegal Town. With implantologists, surgical and cosmetic dentists, orthodontists and an endodontist all under one roof, we've got all your dental needs covered. Starting your journey is easy. Call us on 074 91 20355 or book your appointment online anytime through our user-friendly patient portal at bluepoppydental.com. Blue Poppy Dental and Orthodontics, where smiles shine brighter.
Bargain Homewares, Lower Main Street, Letterkenny. Closing down sale. Everything must go. Huge discounts on all remaining stock. Don't miss out. Grab incredible deals before they're gone at Bargain Homewares, Lower Main Street, Letterkenny.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
McCullough Jewellers in Letterkenny are synonymous with fine jewellery, quality watches and giftware. With stores at Main Street, Letterkenny and the Letterkenny Shopping Centre or online at ormccullough.com. You can choose from their quality product range in a relaxed atmosphere, and their sales staff will be happy to help you make the right choice whatever the occasion. McCullough Jewellers, making moments magical for generations.
The Brandon McPhee Show is coming to the Ballarat Centre Ballbuffet on Thursday 27th of March. A music variety show like no other with special guest Manson Grant. Tickets on sale now from the Ballard box office or brandonmcphee.com.
Welcome to Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms in Donegal Town. Discover affordable luxury with their bespoke fitted furniture solutions. With almost 30 years of serving Ireland and the Northwest, we're your trusted experts. Visit us Monday to Friday 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 9 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. Book your free consultation today on 074 9725822 or visit cherrymore.ie. Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms, where affordability and luxury combine.
Do you want to become a qualified scaffolder? SafeTech are offering a 7-day basic scaffolding course starting in Donegal on Wednesday, March 5th and in Sligo Wednesday, April 2nd. This programme is 20% funded. Terms and conditions apply. SafeTech are also running mobile tower scaffolding courses in March and April. For more details, get in touch with SafeTech today on 074 91 27786 or visit safetech.ie.
Hey, see that road sign?
Which one?
That white one with the black circle and 5 diagonal lines in the middle.
Yeah?
What does that mean again?
It now means that you should drive 60 kilometres an hour or slower.
Ah, okay. This sign on local and rural roads means drive at 60 kilometres an hour or below and always according to the road and weather conditions. A message from the Road Safety Authority. Visit rsa.ie.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenny's. Our new season special occasion wear range is here. Visit us to explore our extensive dress collection in store or shop online at mcelhennys.com today.
Okay, so more widespread heavy showers will spread from the west this afternoon. Some of hail with scattered thunderstorms. Showers will become more scattered again this evening. Highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees. Okay, plenty of you reacting to our conversation with Jack, and some saying, well, why would you even give someone a platform like that? Well, you know, there are groups and individuals who are building movements or potentially building movements and conversations happening online and in social media. And, you know, you get it out into the open and have a chat about it. I don't see any harm in that. I'm a member of the Church of Ireland living in the Gaeltacht, and I think this is such a load of nonsense, says a listener. Hello, regarding Protestants against Gaelic language, is this a wind-up or some form of Trumpyism? I'm an Irish Protestant and couldn't disagree more. I have a cúpla focal, but would like to improve. Gaelic should never leave Ireland. It's part of everyone's Irish, our culture and heritage. There's far too much disinformation and crazy opinions around already without giving any attention to these half-wits. Like any modern society, there is room for more than one language, but Gaelic should never be consigned to history. If they want English as their mother tongue, a one-way ticket to England may suit, and maybe a few lessons on Irish history also. Irish is being taught in Belfast, says the listener. Another, I'm from Poland, living in Ireland for 20 years, and I can't imagine somebody like that coming in and trying to stop me from speaking my own Polish language. My kids speak Irish as we live in Ireland, and I'm very proud of it. Thank you. Let's see now. I just want to go back to this. Does Zach know the real reason that the Irish language lost in the first place? That comes in from Bernie. Does Verona Murphy, the camcorder of the Dáil, speak Irish? No, because she doesn't know how to. So that didn't disadvantage her. It didn't disadvantage Deputy Joe McHugh at the time when he was appointed a Minister for the Irish language. All primary schools teach Irish and they have to speak it. You have to do it in secondary school as well, as you do in Spain, Portugal, France, the Netherlands. You know, your national language is taught in school, isn't it? Hi, Greg. As a Protestant living in Ireland, this man does not speak for me, and I think his stance is utterly disgraceful. And as I said to him, the potentially the group of people he's most likely to upset could be Protestant people. Another, I know dozens of people working in the public sector, including my wife from the Far East, and none of them can speak a word of Irish. Another, as a Protestant, I'm disgusted listening to this man. He hasn't a clue what he is talking about. Tell that man we are in Ireland. If he doesn't want to speak Irish, well, don't then. Exactly, that we do have that freedom, actually. He talks of people being disadvantaged, but we actually have a freedom in this country that many countries don't have. Greg, that man is talking rubbish. I'm an Irish Protestant and I lived in Donegal all my life. Never had a problem. A lot of my friends are Republican. Never had an issue. We respect one another. Another, before tarring us all with one brush, I'm an active member of the Church of Ireland with a strong commitment to my faith. That said, I also hold a bachelor's degree in the Irish language from NUI Galway. We do exist and we do have a deep appreciation and admiration for our beautiful native tongue. On the Protestants Against Gaelic group, they seem to have a short memory. Our ancestors, young and old here in Donegal, were subject to brutal punishment for speaking our native language. To hypercritically assume that the Irish language is being forced on anyone is ludicrous. Complaints of funding for the Irish language in comparison to the amount of physical and psychological damage that's been done to native Irish communities in penal law times is only a drop in the ocean. Jack is absolutely right about the Irish language. Years ago, the Irish language students in the Gaeltacht got extra points. 40% of Irish people aren't able to even speak the Irish language. 40% claim to be able to speak the Irish language. Much less than that, of course, on a daily basis. But that's the choice. You have the language and you choose when to speak it. The man, that man there, is 200% right. It's the most useless language. Could be taught at school. Be better to learn Spanish or something different for our young immigration. I don't understand. I do actually think it is a hangover from British rule where you would get people who are Irish so critical of the language. It's like almost being cuckolded by the English in that regard, continuing their work, so to speak. You know, it's I'm really surprised that some people feel that way, but that is perfectly fine. A little later on in the programme, of course, we're going to be talking all things GAA with Brendan Devaney. Great day for the hurlers yesterday. I mean, it is a sport really on the rise here, and I know Brendan keeps a strong eye on that as well. We're going to be talking about the hurlers' success yesterday, but also too, did you watch the Donegal game? What did you think of it? I don't think anyone wants to question Jim McGuinness's tactics as he's such a tactician. Do you think it bodes well? Do you think it bodes well, I suppose, as we head towards the championship, maybe trying to avoid a final just before we take on Derry, or would you prefer to see the winning ways continue? Do you think it was down to the win? Do you think it was down to some choices that were made, or maybe Galway, a top team, top of the league now, they were just better on the day? We want to talk about everything on this show, okay, from politics to sport to features to health, everything. So if you have a view on the GAA for the weekend, get in touch with us and we'll put your questions and comments and feelings to Brendan Devaney. But we'll take a break now for the news and obituary notices.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Financial abuse is when people are dishonest in how they manage another person's money, property or benefits, particularly a person who may be at risk.
Surprisingly, a lot of financial abuse is carried out by people known to us. A family member, carer, neighbour, social welfare agent or worker. Prevent financial abuse by keeping in control of your money.
Learn more at safeguardingireland.org. From Safeguarding Ireland, supported by the HSE.
Switch to solar and save. Cut your energy bills with efficient renewables. Trusted since 2009. Solar is clean, affordable and now more rewarding with a €1,800 SEAI grant and 0% VAT. Order by March 1st and get your free BER assessment. Don't miss this chance to save money with efficient renewables. Call 074 970 8320 for a free quote today.
They say time equals money, so spend your money where you spend your time. No matter what your preference is, Cooney's Home Interiors has something to suit every taste and budget. With our extensive range of home furnishing to fit every room and style, from mattresses and beds to rugs, mirrors and suites of furniture. Visit us in store today and see for yourself what Cooney's have to offer, and let us help you make your dream home a reality. Cooney's Home Interiors, Letterkenny Retail Park. Huge range, great prices.
There's bingo every Monday night at Halfway House Burnfoot. Doors open at 7:30 with eyes down at 8:30. €2,500 must go. The snowball is now €1,500 on 45 numbers or less. If you're not in, you can't win. That's Halfway House Bingo tonight at 8:30.
Discover Centra Simple Savers, your go-to for great everyday value. Like selected Sprite and Fanta 1.75 to 2 litre bottles, $1.50 each plus deposit. Walker's 6-pack selected range, $1.50 each. And Centra soft quilted luxury toilet tissue 18 rolls, €6. Enjoy easy, simple prices weekly on your favourite products. Centra. Live every day.
Don't miss the huge Doors and Floors 2-day sale at Donegal Town Hardware. There's up to 20% off doors, handles and locks, up to 25% off floors and acoustic panels, with savings of up to €1,000 on full house lots. That's the massive Doors and Floor sale this Friday 28th of February and Saturday 1st of March at Donegal Town Hardware.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, I'm Michaela Clark with the news at 10 o'clock. The Taoiseach says there isn't any discussion of moving Irish peacekeepers into Ukraine while the war is ongoing. Simon Harris is in Brussels this morning for a summit of EU Foreign Affairs Ministers on the third anniversary of the Russian invasion. The Taoiseach Micheál Martin previously left open the possibility of Irish Defence Force members serving in peacekeeping missions once the war is over. Taoiseach Simon Harris says there's no talk of that now because there is no peace.
If we get to a point where there is a peace in place and there is a need for the keeping of that peace, not the enforcing of it, but the keeping of it, and if that happens within the context of the rules that apply in Ireland, of course we'll engage constructively in relation to that. And I think it would be irresponsible and lacking in solidarity for any country to take itself off that pitch.
Repainting road markings is a simple solution to reducing the number of crashes on Donegal roads. That's according to Councillor Donald Coyle, who has repeatedly called for line markings that have faded to be reinstalled. He believes a recent crash on the Listinian Road in Letterkenny could have been prevented if the proper markings were in place. Donegal County Council says the carrying out of road markings is dependent on funding allocations. Councillor Coyle says works need to be carried out as a matter of urgency, particularly at busy junctions.
There was a man rang me. He said, you could not make out the lines on the Polestar at night. And you know, for anybody who's not used to coming on to the Polestar, like, the lines are vital. So look at the, you know, there's a lot of work to be done in relation to line markings.
Meanwhile, people are being encouraged to have their say on two proposed developments under the Letterkenny Active Travel projects. The Circular Road and Ballyreen Road Active Travel schemes are currently at planning stage and include plans to remove existing cycle lanes, provide a two-way cycle facility, implement traffic calming measures and carry out changes to the current Oatfield junction. A public consultation is taking place on the proposed projects tomorrow at the Vestry, Old St Connell's Church between 3 and 7 p.m. Councillor Kieran Brogan says it's of the utmost importance that people make their views known on the proposals before it's too late.
We do know that the public consultation that took place previously, that a lot of residents felt that they weren't fully informed. So it's important that as much consultation is taking place with all the residents and the business people, and that they make their feelings known as well. And I would encourage as many people as possible to come and familiarise themselves with the plans so that they are fully informed and realise the implications of the outcome of this proposal.
Donegal has received just over €2 million from the Community Recognition Fund. 27 projects across the county are to share in the allocation, which supports community infrastructure and facilities in areas hosting significant numbers of arrivals from Ukraine and other countries. €200,000 has been announced for seating and an auditorium refurbishment at Ingranagh Theatre in Letterkenny, while €200,000 has also been allocated to the Donegal Family Resource Centre for the construction of a multi-purpose building. Junior Sports and Postal Policy Minister Charlie McConlogue says works are expected to begin on the ground in the coming months.
Most of this work now will be carried out over the course of the year ahead. It's an annual fund and one that many of our community organisations really look and very much sought after. The organisations who would have applied for this would have plans in place and would be hoping to receive the funding to be able to progress it now. And now with the confirmation of this funding today, they've been in a position to actually get on with that work.
Police in Strabane are increasing patrols following a number of recent burglaries in the area. Investigations are continuing into the break-ins in Strabane and Castlederg. A 23-year-old man has since appeared in court charged in connection with one burglary. Rentokill has reported a sharp increase in rodent infestations in the northwest. Across the region, there's been a 60% rise in mouse-related activity and a 7% increase in rat sightings. Colin Moore, Regional Technical Manager for Rentokill, has warned that mice can lead to extensive property damage and give rise to health concerns. Weather now, a blustery day with good spells of sunshine and well scattered showers this morning. More widespread heavy showers will develop this afternoon, some of hail with scattered thunderstorms. Highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for now. We'll be back with an update again at 11 o'clock. Until then, you can keep up to date with the latest local news on our website highlandradio.com. Good morning. The obituary notice says for this Monday morning, February the 24th. The death has occurred of William Davison, Maharenan Letterkenny, formerly High Carn Ramelton, reposing at his late residence. House private, please. Funeral from there tomorrow, going to Trinity Presbyterian Church, Main Street, Letterkenny, for a service of Thanksgiving at 2 o'clock, followed by committal in the Bank Cemetery, Ramelton. Family flowers only, please. Donations, if wished, to the Friends of Letterkenny University Hospital, care of Pascal Blake, Funeral Director. The death has taken place of baby Danny McLaughlin, Chur Argus, Trenta, Churchill. Danny's remains are reposing at his late residence. Funeral from there tomorrow morning for Mass of the Angels in St Colmcille's Church, Glendowen at 12 noon, followed by interment in Garton Cemetery. Funeral Mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. House private to family, neighbours and close friends, and strictly private on the morning of the funeral. Family flowers only, please. The death has taken place of Michael McConaughey, Ardglass, Portsalon, Fanad, County Donegal, reposing at his late residence. House private to family, friends and neighbours only, please. Requiem Mass will be held in St Columbus Church, Mass, Mount Fanad, tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, followed by interment in the adjoining graveyard. Family flowers only. Donations in lieu of flowers to the renal dialysis unit at Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member or Macateer Funeral Directors. The Requiem Mass will be streamed live on the Macateer Funeral Directors Facebook page. The death has occurred of Mary Kelly, née Murray, 30 Clonliffe Park. Her remains are reposing at her home today from 12 noon until 9 o'clock. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 20 past 11 for 12 o'clock Requiem Mass in St Columbus Church, Drung. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The death has taken place of Andy Kyle, 76 Brawler Road, Garrison, County Fermanagh, formerly of Castlederg and Harrow, Wheelstone, London, reposing at his residence today from 4 o'clock until 7 o'clock. Funeral service tomorrow at 12 noon in Garrison Church of Ireland. Interment afterwards in the adjoining churchyard. House private tomorrow morning. Donations in lieu of flowers, please, to Macmillan Cancer Care, care of any family member. The death has taken place of Gloria Breslin, née Sweeney, 35 Troy Park, Culmore Road, Derry, and formerly of Ballymaleel, P.O. Letterkenny and Quigley's Point. Gloria will be reposing at her late residence tomorrow and Wednesday from 2 o'clock until 9 o'clock, with rosary both nights at 8 o'clock. Funeral from there on Thursday morning at 9:30, going to St Patrick's Church at Pennyburn for 10 o'clock Requiem Mass. Interment afterwards in the city cemetery. Family time on the morning of the funeral, please. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu of flowers if desired to the Foyle Hospice, care of any family member. And the death has occurred of Pat Harold, Glenfin Road, Ballybuffet. Funeral leaving his late residence this morning at 10:30 for Requiem Mass in the Church of Mary Immaculate Stranorlar at 11 o'clock. Interment in Drumbo Cemetery. The Requiem Mass will be streamed live via the parish webcam. Family time before the funeral this morning, please. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
VHI Healthcare gives you and your family more. Get access to VHI Paediatric Clinic, urgent care, online doctor, and much more. Search VHI today and get 25% off kids on a range of plans. VHI, because your health means everything. See vhi.ie for range of plans. VHI Healthcare DAC trading as VHI Healthcare is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland and is tied to VHI Insurance DAC for health insurance in Ireland.
All right, you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show. We're into the second hour for this Monday. Right, okay, thank you for all of you texting in so far this morning. We really do appreciate it. I'm from Donegal. I was in Edinburgh to watch Ireland versus Scotland. A man asked me to buy something and I replied, Ní Berla a Biogam. He responded, Tagel Kogum. He was able to respond to me in Scots Gaelic. I got out and had to buy the paper then. I went about my day speaking a couple of Huckle and people were able to respond to me. This is nothing to do with religion. Yeah, that's a decent enough assessment, I suppose. Right, my headphones are playing up here. I don't know what's going on. It's a funny sound. Michaela must have adjusted something, but it's grand. I find it so funny in a really sad, depressing way that all the people now praising Elon Musk would be, in the same breath, give out about shadowy, unelected bureaucrats enriching themselves in our government. I'm really starting to think these people don't know what the phrase unelected bureaucrat actually means. Indeed, I understand where you're coming from there. I do think there is a great irony there as well at times. It would fit Ireland better to look after its own citizens and own interests. Doesn't mean we don't help out in some way, but protecting our young ones from a mad European army that will only end in death is the most important issue here. At least Trump's tried to stop the killing of the innocent. And as for Hamas, see what they did yesterday. Objectively, Greg, he is being a dictator. This is Donald Trump, I believe, they're talking of. He's putting himself above all checks and balances, calling himself king, has Musk and Vance threatening judges who say the things he's doing are unconstitutional. Regarding GEA Go, it's changing, by the way. I don't do IT systems as I'm a pensioner. There are 650,000 people over 70 who can't use the internet. A lot of pensioners are unable to. Is there an alternative to GEA Go for those who can't use the internet? If we're all going to use online, there'll be no cash in society and companies will be able to charge whatever they want. I really feel for you. I know exactly where you're coming from. I'm not disadvantaged in that regard, in that, I would be be pretty good at IT and stuff. GEA Go's been bought out by the GEA. It's going to be called GEA Plus now. And the bottom line is that the service is set up as such as to show games that would not have been on the TV ordinarily. So, you have RTE would pick and choose games historically. You would know it as an older person. You would know over the years. There could be some years where Donegal would be very rarely, if at all, seen in a live game, or other counties for that matter. GEA Go, or GEA Plus as it's going to be, is about, according to them, showing games that ordinarily wouldn't be shown. There aren't enough real TV stations that you could establish and maintain and broadcast to justify that expense, so you have to do it in a digital way. I'm sure that's the argument they would make. So is there a workaround to it? I can't see it, to be honest with you. Hi, Greg. On the issue of road line markings, the markings from Redcastle to Moville and from Moville to Greencastle have been dangerously faded for at least 18 months. Interesting. I don't know what the story is with that. I know exactly where you talk about, and they're really important, especially in wet conditions or at night time or what have you. So who's responsible for that? Is that TII? Is it the council? We'll see if we can find out. Or indeed, maybe someone listening might be able to give us an update in relation to that. A caller says the government is at odds with the population in Ireland in pushing the end of Irish neutrality. Those shouting the loudest to end neutrality have no intention of fighting themselves or sending any of their families to war zones. They're armchair generals. Do you feel our neutrality is under threat? I mean, as I say, we have no say in our political neutrality because obviously the government feel they have a mandate because they were elected and sort of can say whatever they want, even if it doesn't represent the majority of the Irish people. So... and that could be problematic for us in our relationship with the United States. There's no doubt about that. It could work well in the long term. I don't know. Hi, Greg. Did any of your listeners hear on Taoiseach's reaction to Sinn Féin's decision not to go to the USA, as Trump has signalled he would remove, ethnically cleanse approximately 2 million people? He basically sniggered, laughed, and poked fun at that decision. Has the man no moral compass, no sympathy regarding such a heinous proposal, and is every situation a chance to score political points? It is politics, and I do understand that sometimes it's going to be removed from the tragic reality. I would like someone to explain to me, if this is about Israel, why you would go and, break bread with Joe Biden and the Biden administration, who, stood back and allowed all this to happen into the first place, and in fact weaponized, continued to send weapons to Israel, backed them for the most part. I don't like, if you take a political stance, it has to be justification. And I'm not. So if someone could explain to me why this is a good decision by Sinn Féin, but this decision wasn't taken under the Biden administration, like, is there a red line? And Trump crossed the red line? You can't be a little bit pregnant, right? So you can't be a little bit, pro-Israel and anti-Palestine. So why this stance? Why now? I'm open to be educated on that, and I'm sure many listeners will be very curious to find the answer to that now. Aren't they lucky that all they have to bother them? I'm a Protestant, and I'm sure the majority of people would agree 100% they should keep the opinions to themselves. I'd love to have learned Irish properly and be able to speak it. They certainly won't be speaking for me, and this only stirs up unnecessary nastiness. Honestly, shocked that you're having them on. I mean, they have 63 followers. The language is for everyone, regardless of religion. I get exactly where you're coming from, okay, but, it's not up to me either to pick and choose. It's not up to me either really to sort of, decide, oh, well, that platform's small, they don't get a say, or, you know what I mean? Because then that would be me and the team here. Now, maybe there's an argument to say that because of the amount of people they represent, that they shouldn't have a voice. I don't know. But I don't want to editorialize opinions. I trust the listeners, right? I trust the listenership to this show to hear different opinions and different views and make up the mind in relation to that. I don't believe I should be the person to sort of say, right, they don't have a mandate, they shouldn't speak, if that makes sense. But listen, I appreciate your comments, and I will take them on board and think on as well. Let me see. It would be interesting to find out what half of the higher ranked civil servants are actually doing during their working day, particularly the management of our local hospital. It's an absolute shock that what's happening in there. A friend of mine's wee boy was sent home from the ED twice last week and told he'll be okay. Near Fun and Cowpole. The wee pet now has pneumonia and possibly TB, and the parents are scared beyond belief. It's a shambles. And as part of what Elon Musk is doing in the United States, you'd have to list 5 things you achieved in the week. Which if you sat down, it could be a challenge for a lot of people. But anyway, I'm not sure it'll ever happen here. But I think a lot of people look on what's happening in different administrations, and there's going to be some good ideas, and then there's going to be other ideas people don't agree with. All right, let's take a break. Good luck if you're playing the bingo today, by the way. We've hundreds of euro up for grabs. I hope it goes into your bank account.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Monday, the 24th of February. You're playing on the green sheet for the daily prize of €600. The reference number is S1. It's game number 9. The numbers are 46, 16, 44, 31, 30, 78, 38, 81, 82, and finally 12. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
New this week in Home Store and More. All wall mirrors and clocks are all half price. But better hurry, because when all our half price wall mirrors and clocks are gone, they're gone. Also, all bathroom towels and all recycling kitchen bins are still all half price. But when all the half price bathroom towels and all the half price recycling kitchen bins are gone, they're definitely gone. Drop by your local Home Store and More. Visit us online at homestoreandmore.ie. Home Store and More. A happy home.
If you need an eye test, look no further than Louis Walsh Opticians. Letterkenny's longest established opticians are delighted to welcome patients new and old to their state-of-the-art practice in the Courtyard Shopping Centre. Their latest technology includes a 3D OCT retinal camera, which assesses the health of your eyes in minutes. Private, medical card and PRSI patients welcome. Call 91 21000 to arrange your eye test.
Louis Walsh Opticians, Letterkenny. Your vision, our focus. Will you join us at Relay for Life Donegal in May? This event makes a huge difference in the lives of cancer patients and their families. Register your team now at donegalrelayforlife.com. You and your team can make a difference as we celebrate our survivors, remember those we've lost, and together let's fight back against cancer.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Okay, you're welcome back to the programme at 20 minutes past 10. I'm joined on it now by Eliane Mahmoud. Good morning to you, Eliane. Thank you so much for your time. How are you keeping?
I'm doing really, really well.
Good
I
stuff.
just came back to Poland yesterday, so yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Growing up Pakistani in Ireland is something that you talk about quite an awful lot on your social media. You were originally from Letterkenny. Were you born in Ireland and then?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you study here?
Yeah, I went to Scoregan Small, and then I went to Loretto Convent, Letterkenny.
All right. Okay. And I suppose your assessment of sort of growing up and living in Letterkenny, how do you reflect on it?
I think most of all it was positive. Like most of the time I had a lovely experience in Letterkenny. I feel like Letterkenny is quite like, one thing I will say about Letterkenny, right, is when you leave Letterkenny, you will miss it a lot because the community is very, very tight knit. The people, like through all generations that I've noticed, are very, very kind and considerate towards each other. And the way that Letterkenny is, every place has its problems, you get me, but I feel like Letterkenny is a very tight-knit community, and I do struggle with missing it a lot when I'm here. Yeah,
because you're over in Poland studying and working. We'll talk about that in a moment. The Pakistani community in Donegal is relatively small, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite small, yeah.
And did you mix in that community as well as in the wider population?
I think, you know what it is? I feel like a lot of people are from different areas of Pakistan. And a lot of people come over with their like family, like their extended family. And I feel like I didn't really have that experience. Like most of the Pakistani families that I know, they're all like, they came together like as a big group. Whereas for me, it's just me, my mom, my brother, and my grandma. So there is a little bit of feeling a bit like left out and not really being able to even fit in.
Within the Pakistani community, you mean?
Yeah, like I think everyone is from different areas. Like I'm from a different part of Pakistan, they're from a different part of Pakistan. They have different beliefs even to us.
Yep.
It's the same as like, for example, somebody from Donegal being able to relate to somebody from Dublin. You know what I mean?
Of course, I know. And there's this presumption that if you're from one country, or indeed often sometimes from a continent, that all of a sudden you are a member of that community and you'll get on like a house on fire. But North and South India, very different people. North and South Pakistan, not necessarily North and South, but different regions and areas. You just don't naturally get on with anyone that is from a country where your heritage is.
Yeah, exactly. Especially living here. Like I feel like in Ireland, I feel like the Pakistani community is its own. It's very unique to the UK. It's very unique to Pakistan. It's its own thing. And in Donegal, it's very very few. I'll say that.
So did that not look? I'm not trying to poke holes in your experience, but is that difficult where you perhaps maybe you feel part of a number of communities, but at the same time you don't fully feel part of the communities too? Is that something that you strive for or you missed?
You know what I'm gonna say, right? I feel like it was a blessing in disguise because of having one thing I will say is that people tend to form cliques, right? So they will look for people who are like them everywhere they go. Because that was not an option for me from very young, I feel like I'm able to get on with people of all different ethnicities, nationalities. I have so many friends from so many different countries, and I feel like I get to learn about new cultures. I have, my own culture and everything. But when I get a chance to make friends with different people, learn about different experiences, if I was in a closed or tight-knit community, I probably wouldn't have left to go study medicine in Poland. You know what I mean?
But also, too, you come from I was going to say, I'm not implying the opposite view is closed-minded, right? But you come from a more open-minded parentage, don't you? Whereby your mother wanted you to achieve everything you can possibly achieve, which may be, outside the way others of her heritage might feel.
Yeah, no, this is very, very true. My family was very, very open-minded. They very much pushed me towards achieving anything. I never felt at home that I didn't have certain privileges because of my gender, for example. I felt like I was always on equal footing with my brother. And yeah, I feel like my parents, they really built confidence in me from very, very young, which is something that I feel like people do struggle with a little bit in our community.
Do you think things have got more difficult as you've come through your teenage years and maturing into an adult in relation to, are you Islam? Sorry for asking. Are you?
Yes,
yeah.
I'm Muslim.
Muslim.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon. Sorry, Islam is a stupid mistake of mine. My mistake. Sorry.
All right.
I'm going to be talking about Islam and its impact on Muslim people potentially. Right. So, have you had to in any way? I don't know. Being a Muslim person, is it becoming more difficult, right? Because people see, they conflate Islam, as I did myself inaccurately, and it was a mistake by me. I know the difference. Conflate Islam or radicalism or extremism with being a Muslim.
Okay. So you know what it is, right? I feel like there is a kind of misrepresentation of Islam, because people see stuff in the media and they take it as a representation of the religion, right? And the biggest thing that I'm going to say is that it is very difficult to be a Muslim person growing up. It's difficult, going on your day-to-day life. But people need to realize that crimes happen between any religion. There's 2 billion Muslims in the world. Do you think that no one's going to commit a crime? You know what I mean? But it's just that whenever we commit a crime, our religion gets brought with the crime. Those people are just criminals. You get me? I think definitely in the UK a bit we can see there is a sense of crime, but I feel like in Ireland everyone really respects each other and really tries to keep the peace most of the time.
But you just get a sense that what's happening in the UK is, we're seeing a lot of nationalism right around the world now, and that causes a lot of division and all between religions. Do you believe people, Muslims and Christians, do you think they can successfully live together? I mean, we could say, yes, there is evidence of that, but also what we seem to be seeing is it's like oil and water in certain places, that things aren't mixing very well indeed. Or is that maybe that's just what people want us to believe? But I suppose as a Muslim woman, Eileen, what's your view?
I feel like Muslim and Christian is so close, but I feel like the Christians might not see that. I feel like people are unaware. For example, in the Muslim ideologies, we believe in Jesus, we believe in Virgin Mary, we believe in Moses, we believe in Noah. in fact, almost all the stories of the Bible, we believe in them. We just believe in having another prophet after Jesus. And Muslims are very respectful towards Christian beliefs, as far as I've seen. Like, you know, when Christian people would come to the mosque and ask for more information or anything like that, I feel like we can live together. I just feel like there's a lot of misinformation. People focus on a certain ideology and they ignore the rest. Like we both have so much in common that people, I think, might not see.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you, and I'm not expressing any personal views. It's just really interesting to get an insight into it, because I think there is a sense that, you know, you will have heard phraseology that's used a lot online about replacement. Okay, that there is this sense that the Muslim culture, whilst it is not necessarily terribly far removed from Christianity, that there is this sense that it would become, you know, the dominant religion in places like, you know, France, Germany, Britain and Ireland. But you're of the view they can live side by side.
You know, all of my best friends, when I say this, because, you know, obviously I didn't grow up in a very Muslim area. All of my best friends are Christian. And I respect their beliefs. I've never told them, okay, like, it's time to turn Muslim or anything like that. Like, I feel like my best friends are, you know, Christian girls, and some of them are very devout Christians as well. Like, they go to church every Sunday, they have the Bible with them, like, in their study room and everything. I think we can definitely live side by side. I just think it depends on your personality. Obviously, there will be people in every religion who think that they need to impose their religion on somebody else. But then there will be people like me who just, you know, are a person and have their religion and, you know, can get
doesn't define you as such, or doesn't necessarily. I get you. How have you found Poland? You're in Poland studying medicine now. How have you found living in Poland compared to Ireland? What would you say the key differences are there?
Okay, so first thing that I wanted to say is that I have a huge level of respect for the people of Poland and the people who are Polish living in Ireland. When I grew up in Ireland, right, I met a lot of different Polish, like, girls in my class and everything. And back then I was not so aware, but now coming here, I see them, like, I see how hardworking and dedicated they are, like, and they do everything. Like, whenever I'm getting any kind of beauty treatment or like my nails or anything done, they do things to an incredibly high standard. And the next thing that I want to say was, some of the struggles that I have kind of faced is, obviously I'm not fluent in Polish or anything like that. And I think definitely the food is very, very different here compared to back home. And I really do miss that.
But why are you looking to expand your life experience? Why Poland? Why move to Poland can you get a better education in medicine there? Did you just want to see new horizons? I understand. I think your mother was quite keen for you and indeed your younger brother to study in Poland. Is it because of the reputation of the education system, or what's the story?
Yeah, first thing I want to say that my university has a very, very thorough education system. Like, even to pass an exam in my university, you have to get 60%, and it's kind of like a bachelor's and a master's, like, combined into one kind of course. So when you graduate, you're immediately, I think it's a registrar position that you have immediately upon graduating, which is really good. The degree is very well recognized. But I remember the original reason that, like, this is kind of a bit of a coincidence. The original reason that I went to Poland, whenever I got my Leaving Cert results, I missed out on my dream university by like 1%, right? And that, it absolutely shattered me. It shattered me at age like 19. On results night, I was crying the whole day. And I was like, you know what? This is just what I want to do. And I was thinking to myself, like, should I go to Poland? Like, we had a family friend who had gone to Poland and he got a really amazing entry-level position, and he's, you know, doing really well for himself now. So I was thinking to myself then, should I just go to Poland? And I made up my mind within the span of 4 days to go to Poland, and I had moved.
Finally, Eileen, where do you hope to live and work?
So I would love to come back and work in Ireland, honestly. I feel like it did break my heart a bit that I obviously didn't get into Ireland, but I would love to be able to, because there's so many horizons to explore and so many opportunities to give the people like that I grew up with, you know what I mean? I would love to work in emergency medicine, trying to give more opportunities to people who are coming to A&E, kind of following after like my dad's like footsteps. Or I would also love to work in psychiatry, because that's more so like a field that my mum's doing. So yeah.
All right, fine. Are you renting over there?
Yeah.
Can I ask what your monthly rent is? Try and get a comparison.
Yeah. It's around €500 a month. I know that's absolutely shocking for the price.
And it's your own place, yeah?
Yeah, I have my own kitchen, my own bathroom, my own bedroom, everything.
Wow, $500 a month. Okay. Listen, continued success in your career. Thanks for your insight there. I do appreciate it. Take care of yourself. That is Eliane Mahmood, originally from Letterkenny with Pakistani heritage, now studying in Poland with a view to coming back here to work once qualified.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Discover Centra's Simple Savers, your go-to for great everyday value. Like selected Sprite and Fanta 1.75 to 2 litre bottles, $1.50 each plus deposit. Walker's 6-pack selected range, $1.50 each. And Centra soft quilted luxury toilet tissue 18 rolls, €6. Enjoy easy, simple prices weekly on your favourite products. Centra. Live every day.
Dublin calling? Fly with Aer Lingus from Donegal Airport twice daily from just $29.99 one way. Convenient, affordable and hassle-free. Don't miss out. Book your flight now at aerlingus.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Transform your home with Hegarty's Home Interiors in Buncrana. Discover a wide selection of stylish furniture and decor to create your perfect space. Our expert team offers personalised advice to match your style and budget. Visit us on Main Street, Buncrana. Open Monday to Saturday 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Or visit hegartyshomeinteriors.ie. Hegarty's Home Interiors, making homes beautiful since 1946.
Irwin Expert Electrical are hiring. Looking for a great opportunity in sales? We have a maternity cover position available in Letterkenny with the potential for an extended contract. Full training is provided, so experience isn't essential. If you have a willingness to learn and are interested, apply today at info@irwinexpert.ie. We look forward to hearing from you.
Connect Hearing is open for free hearing tests. Our audiologist is available Monday to Friday for wax removal services at our Letterkenny clinic in the Courtyard Shopping Centre. We also offer a home visit for those who aren't able to visit us. Our hearing is our social sense. Are you finding hearing more of a challenge? Call Ursula today on 07491 13296 to make an appointment. Good hearing helps us to connect to our family, friends and loved ones. Connect Hearing, connecting you to life.
It's the holiday of a lifetime, Highland in the Sun 2025. This September 14th to the 21st, we go back to the stunning 4-star Sol Costa Jurata Hotel Saloon for 7 nights dinner, bed and breakfast and lots of great entertainment with some of your favourite acts in Irish country music. Don't delay and book today by contacting Country Music Tours on 074 9119 955 or email info@countrymusictours.ie. Don't miss out on the holiday of a lifetime.
Okay, we're joined on the programme now by Michael Healy-Rae, Minister of State at the Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine. Good morning to you, Minister. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Greg, and thank you for having me on your Highland Radio programme today. I appreciate it.
It's good to have you on. Interesting and quite shocking figures coming out for an assessment of the damage to Irish forests as a result of Storm Dara, and let's not forget Owen as well. Or Ewan, I can't remember. I've already forgotten what it was called, but you know what I mean. I'm still feeling the pain myself, Michael, but go ahead.
I do, Greg. Well, look, what we're talking about here is 24,000 hectares of timber on the ground, which is about 10 million cubic meters of timber. Now, to put it in context, this is over twice the annual cut.
Wow.
And, of course, it's a very, very serious problem. But my job, and it is my responsibility, to back the forest owners, the people who have had the situation now that they're looking at their plantations on the ground, and they are in an awful difficult situation. But already I've set up a task force which has ensured that we're changing thinning licenses to become felling licenses, which is a help. And an awful lot of forestry plantations actually have a license of some sort already. Indeed, we maintain that it's probably in the region of 50%. So an awful lot of timber that's on the ground now, the people who own it, they can notify the department that they want to remove it, and they will be allowed to do so.
Mm-hmm.
People who don't have a license, I'm very adamant that they will not have the situation that we had in the past where people were waiting for a year and for 2 years and 2.5 years. My officials in the department, we're working diligently to ensure that licenses will issue in a quicker and more speedy and less red tape fashion than before. And at the same time, we have to ensure that those licenses are robust and free from legal challenge, because we are on notice from other parties that they could very well go take us to the courts if we were to abandon the licensing system, because there is an obligation by the EU that we have to have proper assessment, and we have to do things properly, and at the same time we don't have to get bogged down with red tape.
No, of course, and I imagine too it's more difficult to work with the timber once it's been blown over than if you were to deal with it, fell it yourself and deal with it in the more traditional way.
Of course it is, Greg, but we've excellent people who have harvesters and forwarders and the haulers who work in conjunction with the sawmills. These are all experienced people, and the one thing that I would say to people is a forest that has been windblown or that there's timber split, it's a very dangerous place, and part of my responsibility is farm safety. So I would be encouraging people to be careful and to ensure that you engage the services of your local forester and a proper contractor that will go ahead, extract the timber in as speedy as fashion as possible, and get it to the sawmills and get paid. Now, the one thing that I want to recognise, because it's only proper to do so, that Minister Charlie McConaughey and Deputy Pat the Cope Gallagher, they've been working in conjunction with me just from your area. They're very strong and very vocal on this issue, and they have been liaising with me about the situation on the ground, covering Donegal and surrounding areas, which is very important.
Now, obviously, there's going to be state support and accommodation, which is good. But we are also going to see potentially, twice or at least 50% more, I'd imagine, timber in circulation that would be in circulation in a normal year, if that makes sense. Is this going to be advantageous for the consumer in any way, shape or form? Is there going to be some sort of a return in relation to that?
Well, first of all, timber is always expensive. Any person who goes to their local hardware shop, and whether it's a sheet of ply, yes, the one thing that I want to do is make sure that we have a market for it. Where we have a situation now where we're importing timber from places like South America and from Scotland, I want to try and ensure that we will use our own product and cut down on our imports and use our own timber, which is of excellent quality. But I won't deny to you, Craig, and it's important to recognise this fact. We are in a race against time here, because once timber falls and once it's on the ground, it can't stay there forever, because we want to ensure that it will, retain its value, which is very important.
All right, so just finally, for those in this industry affected by this, give us the timeline then, and just recap what support you hope to have in place and when.
Well, first of all, the group that I'm working with, the task force, right, we're working diligently to ensure that all of the different problems that we're going to have, we're putting the mechanisms in place to help people with all of the aspects of the difficulties that they're going to have over the next number of months. We won't be found wanting. And the one thing, you often saw a person maybe shying away from their responsibility. If this goes right, it's my doing. If it goes wrong, it's my fault. So I'm responsible for it, and I will do everything I can to back the person who's really important right now. That's the forestry owner and the landowners. And the other thing is, we have to do a diligent job of working in conjunction with the ESB to ensure that we open up corridors wider than they have been at present, to ensure that we won't have the massive outages of power that we've had over the last number of weeks and months.
I must ask you before I let you go, as a fellow sort of rural person and speaking from a rural area, a lot of people upset when you decided to go into government in relation to the carbon tax. I think many would have seen you as someone who would advocate strongly for, rural Ireland. I don't know if it was part of the pathway to power, but you've backed the carbon tax, and we're feeling the heat on that now. You know yourself, we don't have gas piped into Donegal. We rely on solid fuel to a great extent, oil. It's tougher for us to get around. We do need cars. It's not that I don't want to get a train. There is no trains. Did you not let the west of Ireland down, sell them out a little bit in backing the government and backing the carbon tax?
Absolutely not. Because when the carbon taxes came before the Dáil, for example, I and my brother, we voted against what was being brought in because we didn't agree with it.
Yeah.
But now it's in place and it was voted on and agreed, and it's there until 2030. We are not agreeing to increases or new increases. All that has happened is what is there was voted on by Dáil Éireann. And I'll give you an example. And this is a real irony. I hear people in Sinn Féin criticising me for what they call supporting the carbon tax. I didn't support them, but they did. And I heard their leader one day standing up in the Dáil and accusing Leo Varadkar at the time of not going far enough, quick enough.
Can I just question a statement that you've made there with respect? There are incremental increases in carbon taxes up until 2030. Okay, you signed up. You said you have signed up to support those continued annual increases. So that's not what you said in your response. And I'm sorry, I'm not being argumentative, Minister, but you stated that it was already that you weren't backing increases, but you are, because you signed up to continuous annual increases. Now, my question to you is, as a fellow rural dweller, right? Why? What is the advantage? How is that helping those that voted for you and the rest of us in Western Ireland? I'm not saying carbon taxes are a bad thing. That's not my job. But I'm asking you why they're a good thing, why you signed up to have continued annual increases when we're already struggling.
The reason I didn't vote for the carbon taxes when they were brought before the Dáil in the first instance, because I believed, like you rightly stated, that they were more hitting people in rural areas than any other part of Ireland. I believed, and I still believe, that they're disadvantaging people in the rural parts of this country. That's what I believed. That's why I voted against them. Other people at the time voted them in their entirety. And they had no problem in the world. They didn't speak against it. They didn't disagree with it. I spoke against it. I gave all the reasons why. But now we are in a situation, and what you've said there is factually correct. There are incremental increases between here and 2030. But the government of that time, backed by the people in opposition, and there were all around, there was very few people who actually voted against it, only people like myself who were in our technical group.
You actually, and it's not for me to, you actually tabled a motion calling for carbon taxes to be scrapped. It's not that you opposed for it. You sought to. It's just very hard. I think there's a lot of dissatisfaction with politics in this country, maybe represented by the low turnout, Minister. And I think, now that you're saying that you were opposed to it, but it was other people that voted in, and now it sounds like it sounds a wee bit like you've kind of sold out now your strong principles on this for a seat around the table.
No, I'll put it to you this way, Greg. I never sold out on anything. But if you take, for example, the problem that I'm facing now with the forestry sector, I'm glad that I'm in the position I'm in to deal with it, because I'd rather be dealing with it myself rather than looking at somebody else dealing with it. The whole idea of supporting the government, there are many good reasons why it's the right thing for me, representing first of all County Kerry and then the rest of the country. I believe it would be so easy for me to be like Sinn Féin and to be like others and to be on the sidelines. Sometimes you have to tag off and go on the field to try and achieve more. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring common sense into the heart of government. The Greens were in power before, they're gone. I don't dance on other people's graves. That's not what I'm about.
No, but you are endorsing one of their key policies, and you have signed up for it.
But I didn't vote for it in the first instance.
I know,
and
but
with
the
other
pe-
people who are critical of me
Minister.
now, this is
I know,
no,
Minister,
but
but
this is the ironic.
but the public are very clever. The days whereby you sort of can say, well, it was somebody else. You were incredibly opposed to them.
No.
People felt
Yes,
you
and I
understand it.
voted
You
against
tabled a motion trying to get them scrapped.
yes.
And now
100%.
you're a minister with a nice, tidy salary, be able to look after Kerry, and the people that would have thought that maybe you would take a stand on the carbon tax for the people of rural Ireland feel let down and probably feel that politics has shafted them again, with respect.
Well, I'll put it through this way. The people of Ireland know the one thing I won't do is shaft anybody. My job is to be a servant of the people and to work for them in whatever way I can. And being in the department that I'm in the Department of Agriculture to me, it's the backbone of our economy. Yes, our tourism, our industries, everything is important. But agriculture is very, very important to me and to the people of Ireland. And sustaining and growing farms is very important. It would be very easy for me to stand on the sidelines and not do what I'm doing. But I feel that it is the right thing to do, to roll up my sleeves, try and work from within government, to try and be common sense-like and work person-like.
Just one of the big issues then is the nitrates derogation. As Minister of State of the Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine, are you confident that you and your department will be able to retain, maybe even improve the nitrates derogation, or is that a dead duck?
No. If you look at the programme for government, this government is extremely committed to retaining the derogation that we have. And again, it's things like that and standing up for family farms. That's what I am all about in every way that I can. And but I will just make the final point to you. It is ironic to think that people who are critical of me are people who voted for the carbon tax in the first instance and looked for it to be greater than what it actually is.
Understood. Okay, and on that note, in the interests of balance and fairness, we'll leave it. For now, Minister of State at the Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine, Michael Healy-Rae, thank you very much for your time.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Donegal ETB's Further Education and Training Fair is on next week in the Radisson Blu Hotel, Letterkenny. Tuesday evening the 4th from 7 to 9 is aimed at Leaving Cert students, their parents and those in employment looking to upskill, with talks on courses and apprenticeships. Then Wednesday the 5th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is for anyone interested in full and part-time education or training opportunities. This free event is perfect for finding out about the various options offered by Donegal Education and Training Board across the county.
Hi, Paddy here at Shane Conley Cars in Donegal Town. Are you looking to upgrade your car? With Shane Conley Cars, you'll find makes and models for every budget. Great finance options, and we also accept trade-ins. Check out ShaneConleyCars.com or call in to us at Shane Conley Cars from Lonaher Road, Donegal Town.
Heading off on holiday? Don't forget to park to relax. Travelling for business? Well, then just park to work. Flying for a city break? Simply park to explore. No matter where you're going, you'll find safe, secure shuttle parking just 6 minutes from the airport at Dublin's newest airport car park, Park 2 Travel. Visit park2travel.ie now to book your space from March 10th, and then simply park to go. Park2travel.ie. For when you need to park to, well, travel.
If you're looking for a competitive insurance quote, contact Hickey Clark and Langan Insurance Brokers in Letterkenny. Home, car or van insurance, farm, commercial or public liability insurance. They compare quotes from all the leading insurers so you get a great price. Call Hickey Clark and Langan on 91 26688 or call into the office at Ballymacool, Letterkenny. Hickey Clark and Langan General Insurances Limited, trading as Hickey Clark and Langan, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Whether they're on holiday, watching TV, eating a family meal.
Put it down.
It seems teenagers just refuse to put down their phones. but help is at hand.
Because Fundamania is in Derry.
Real thrills, real fun, outside in the fresh air.
Fundamania Derry at the Brunswick Movie Bowl from February 28th to March 17th.
Choose regular, junior or family wristbands. Turn screen time into scream time. Details at fundamania.co.uk.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenny's. Our new season special occasion wear range is here. Visit us to explore our extensive dress collection in store or shop online at mcelhennys.com today.
Quick visual inspection out the window would tell you that it seems relatively pleasant here in Letterkenny, but more widespread heavy showers will spread from the west this afternoon. Some of hail with scattered thunderstorms. Showers will become more scattered again this evening. Temperatures 9 to 11 degrees. What about tonight? Well, a mix of clear spells and scattered showers tonight. Some showers will be heavy with a further chance of hail and isolated thunderstorms. Lowest temperatures of 2 to 4 degrees in moderate to fresh westerly winds. It depends what time you get up, okay, of course. But for me, it's nice to be getting up, driving to work in relative daylight. And, it's bright, dependent on the cloud cover and stuff. Heading towards 6 o'clock and afterwards. And in fact, really, very shortly, the sun sets after 6 for the first or the last time until October. So it does feel we're heading into spring. St. Patrick's Day is just around the corner, maybe. Maybe this is the summer where we get just the right weather to keep our important agricultural friends happy, but also allows us to go onto the beach and have fun. Right, is it the law that trees can't be cut down after this week? I don't know. It comes up all the time. Someone out there let me know. I mean, there's always... because people sometimes give out about ads about tree cutting. You can cut trees, as far as I'm aware, any time of the year if they're overhanging or a risk to property or roads or what have you. I think there is something of a derogation there. Generally, tree cutting, I don't know. Someone will let me know, please. What is the situation? During the Troubles, the Loyalist prisoners in the H blocks learned Gaelic. Hello, in response to Protestants against Gaelic, etc., there's no argument to be had. It's just silly to claim English is the mother tongue. You just need to look at the history of Ireland. Otherwise, you see wasting your breath, bigotry, and God knows Ireland doesn't need any more of that. And I think it's important, too, to not conflate religion, sort of with necessarily political views. We're a mismatch of all different views, and you could have a Protestant who is... one of the greatest Irish Gaelic speakers, and very happy with the way things are now. And we're all different. Right, Brendan Devine is going to be talking GAA after 11. So if you've anything to say about the weekend action, let us know. Well, why don't you let Enoch Burke on? You think you're free speech? Yes, you won't read this out. I always find amusing when people say we won't read it out. I've spoken to the Burkes quite a few times actually over the years. I spoke to Enoch Burke's mother a couple of times, and certainly, I don't know if it was Enoch, but certainly one or two of the brothers. I have no problem speaking to Enoch Burke. In fact, it would be quite interesting to tease out his views, and I don't think I think he's locked in on his views and what have you. But I think it would be interesting to figure out what he hopes to achieve, or maybe get an insight as to why he feels he actually ended up in prison. So. Not only would I not read it out, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind chatting. Greg, America did not let this happen. Hamas attacked Israel again. Israel defended their citizens. Why are the media bad guy, particularly in Ireland? Why are they the bad guy? There's been a lot going on for an awful lot of time. Everyone knows this didn't start on October 7th. The actions of Hamas over the years, indiscriminate bombing into Israel, completely unacceptable. What they did on October 7th, completely unacceptable. What Israel did after that, collective punishment to an entire population, is completely unacceptable, I think. And there are levels. What Hamas is doing with the hostage exchange now is sick, to be honest with you. Making ex-prisoners kiss them on the foreheads and parading the coffins of babies. I find it absolutely revolting. So I don't know, but I mean, it's pretty clear. Israel's punishing the entire Palestinian people. Collective punishment, not a good thing. Trump doesn't want to displace anyone. He's kind of said it though. He has said he'd prefer them move out. There's no guarantee of them moving back in. It's his own words, but anyway, I'll read on. He wants Palestinian neighbours to take them in until Gaza's rebuilt. Then they can go back again, but don't let facts get in your way. The media don't tell you the whole story, just sound bites. Even Highland is guilty of its pushing misinformation, i.e. what you said about Musk on Friday about getting contracts and money. I backed it up with words. He's got multi-billion euro contracts, and since since then, he's received almost $100 million dollars in contracts. It's not misinformation, it's facts. But anyway, that's that. Loads more coming in, and we've got a busy hour on the way. Stay there.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Log on to Revenue's My Account to claim any tax credits you're entitled to. And tell us about any extra income you have earned outside the PAYE system. If you're due a refund, you'll get it within days. If you owe us money, we'll work with you on a payment option. My Account. It's quick, it's easy, and it's free.
For strong, unique, weather-resistant homes, choose Cedral Exteriors. Our fibre cement roof slates and wall cladding ranges are built to last for generations, exceeding EU quality standards. Members of Guaranteed Irish, our products are locally made and beautifully designed, offering long-term peace of mind. Visit cedral.ie. Cedral Exteriors. Strength guaranteed.
All you need to make your house a home at Patterson's The Hall Lifford. From garden furniture to kitchens, sofas and dining sets, all under one roof. Need a new mattress? Why not visit our sleep centre on the first floor? With a large range of quality beds and mattresses in stock and ready for collection or delivery. Relax in our coffee shop serving hot lunches daily. Open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Patterson's Kitchens and Interiors, The Hall Lifford.
With the phasing out of R32 refrigerant and heat pumps, discover next generation comfort with the new award-winning Grant Airona R290 heat pump, delivering exceptional performance with quiet operation. The Grant Airona R290, heating for the future. Think heating, think Grant. Visit grant.ie.
We all love to get the most out of things, like a sunny day, while it lasts. In Ireland, it can be hard to get enough vitamin D from the sun. But did you know that 90% of us also don't get enough vitamin D from the food we eat? The great news is, Avonmore Supermilk is fortified with vitamin D, helping us to absorb calcium for healthy bones and supporting the immune system too. Avonmore Supermilk, the most super our milk can be. Figures based on FSAI 2023 vitamin D study.
Milford Tiles, Milford Retail Park. Tiles, bathware and wood flooring. The best quality and value in the Northwest. Fully stocked and ready to go. Fitters and delivery available. 10% off for Mica affected customers. Don't forget to ask about our 5-day bathroom fit out. Call Milford Tiles on 083 091 0707.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
And I'm joined in studio now at 11 o'clock by Michaela Clark with the very latest news. Why am I trying to do something different? I'll just say it again. It's 11 o'clock. It's time for the latest news headlines. Here's Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. Ukraine's president says his country has more friends than ever before as he marks the 3rd anniversary of Russia's invasion. European leaders are gathering in Kyiv as concerns grow about the US's approach to peace talks with Russia. Volodymyr Zelensky's offer to resign as president in exchange for NATO membership. More than 9 in 10 hoteliers are concerned about the global economy amid rising costs and a drop in bookings in 2024. Occupancy rates declined by between 1% and 3% in almost every region last year compared to 2023, according to a survey by the Irish Hotels Federation. In the border region, which includes Donegal, occupancy rates were down 2%. Repainting road markings is a simple solution to reducing the number of crashes on Donegal roads. That's according to Councillor Donald Coyle, who has repeatedly called for line markings that have faded to be reinstalled. He believes a recent crash on the Listillion Road in Letterkenny could have been prevented if the proper markings were in place. People are being encouraged meanwhile to have their say on 2 proposed developments under the Letterkenny Active Travel projects. The Circular Road and Ballyreen Road Active Travel schemes are currently at planning stage and include plans to remove existing cycle lanes, provide a 2-way cycle facility, implement traffic calming measures and carry out changes to the current Oatfield junction. A public consultation is taking place on the proposed projects tomorrow at the Vestry, Old St Connell's Church between 3 and 7 p.m. Donegal has received just over €2 million from the Community Recognition Fund. 27 projects across the county are to share in the allocation, which supports community infrastructure and facilities in areas hosting significant numbers of arrivals from Ukraine and other countries. €200,000 has been announced for seating and an auditorium refurbishment at Angraden Theatre in Letterkenny, while €200,000 has also been allocated to the Donegal Family Resource Centre for the construction of a multi-purpose building. And repairs to a burst water main are ongoing in the Gweedore area. Uisce Éireann say the works may cause supply disruptions in Derrybeg and surrounding areas. Works are due to be completed there by 4 o'clock this afternoon. Those are the latest headlines. We'll be back with an update again at 12 noon.
Michaela, thanks so very much indeed. We're going to be talking GA with Brendan shortly.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
Introducing Instagram teen accounts with new built-in protections. Accounts are private by default, helping to protect teenagers from unwanted contact. Content and comments are automatically filtered to help ensure what they see is age appropriate. And teenagers under 16 require parental approval to change these protections. Instagram teen accounts. New built-in protections for parents' peace of mind. Learn more at instagram.com/teen accounts.
Dude, why are you wearing sunglasses?
That's how I am. All cool people wear shades for no reason.
All right, you're looking good. Brendan Devaney is joining us via Zoom. He is outside of the car and he is sporting a very fetching pair of sunglasses. A bit of an oxymoron here because he's also wearing a scarf. So I don't know if he's got 2 black eyes and just a cold neck. What's going on?
I was a bit cheeky to trash it last night.
I won't condone that activity. Come here, let's start with hurlers, if you don't mind, because our lads went down, beat Kerry 5-14 to 3-16. This is impressive stuff, Brendan.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff. Donegal listen, I hate to quote anything about what bookies ever do, but Donegal were like 18-1. I mean, this was the first game against a Munster team. Of course, you think about Ulster football, it's out on its own in terms of football. The hurling is all about Munster. The teams are so strong. And Kerry have been knocking on the door of trying to get up to the next run, to the top tier of hurling. So they're in Division 2, obviously, but they're a top side. And for Donegal to go and beat them, 4-point victory, being such ranks outsiders, I mean, it's an unbelievable performance. I mean, we're obviously targeting Tyrone in this league and Derry in particular. And it was thought that maybe we could have a cut at Meath, which we did in the opening game. We lost a very good down team last year out. It was goals that beat us, but we rectified that wrong, hitting 5 goals against Kerry. And Mickey McCann, who has been and seen it all now between playing and managing, he called it Donegal's greatest ever performance. So I'm glad you started with that one, Greg.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about wind a little later on in this, but the hurlers also had to contend with wind, and they got it right. They went into the break trailing by 6 points. Happy enough with that because they knew they could play they could use that win to their advantage and run out the winners in the end.
Yeah, and I suppose two of those 5 goals came in the first half, and I think that was the big, I suppose, the big launch pad in the second half. You get 3 scores, but 2 of them are goals. So that kid kept Donegal half in the game. So as we're seeing, Greg, and I think we'll get on to it later, why Donegal chose to play against the breeze in the first half, that you try and contain, and then what happens is not only should you have the breeze in the second half, but the game should open up a bit. And you see in a lot of games, there's more scores often in the second half than the first. So I think that's often the game plan. If you can hold it tight up in the half time, you should have a good opportunity to really go after teams in the second half. But that said, Kerry, with all the experience they would have in their own ranks, would think that they would have enough. And like Liam McKinney there in particular, hitting 115. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal scoring from him in the game. McKinney hitting 2-3 of that total. These shades I've blocked my.
But he can take the scores and he can set them up as well. That's what you want on a team, isn't it? And it's just history, just the history we're talking of. I don't believe Donegal have beaten a Munster team before, so you only do it for the first time once, and it's just a great sign, I think, of where the game's going in this county, and obviously on a national stage.
Yeah, and listen, Niall Cleary was on the show last week, and there's promotion going on around the county. There's actually a thing in Kirch tonight down in Gweedore there, just about looking people that want to get involved and make more of the Donegal GA clubs have a hurling team. Just seeing who's got the interest in it, and certainly at the minute with kind of exposure in Division 2 and obviously Nicky Racker, champions got up to Christy Ring. It's a great time for Donegal hurling. And, Greg, I was just thinking, I was listening to somebody on the way down the road there yesterday, myself and Oisin, talking about rugby. And even if you're not into rugby, there's something about, it's Ireland. It's Ireland going to battle with teams. And listen, I do love the rugby anyway. But the same with any of our Donegal teams, you got to be proud of them. They are who we are. They're all our players from around our own towns and villages. So, some people in Donegal, obviously football is the big thing. But, if you go and watch, I'd say to people, go out and catch a hurling game, whether it be club hurling, but particularly Donegal there. It's an absolutely brilliant entertainment. And the lads are doing so well and talk about punching above their weight and moving up the ladders. And they've been doing that unbelievably the last couple of seasons. And again, people thought they'd struggle. Maybe in Division 2 here, but they're really holding their own.
They're on a journey. Get on that train right now. You will be speaking to Conor Garland in relation to that. Marie O'Donnell will be reflecting on a draw for the ladies, the senior ladies. The minors had a win over Derry. The senior ladies drew 10 points to 1-7 against Roscommon in Division 2.
Yeah, I know you talk about draws in sport. I think that's 3 out of 4. So listen, how do you dress it up? We're unbeaten. That's the big news coming out of it. It took a very late penalty, of course, from Jody McFadden. I don't think the Roscommon supporters there were too happy, but listen, that's what was given, 72 minutes, and it was a very, very late show. And I suppose in those draws, in the first one, I think away to Clare, we got the late equaliser, and I think away to Westmeath, they got the late equaliser, and then this time it was a last-minute penalty. So loads of drama in there. Suzanne White hitting 5 points from her total as well. She had a super game. So yeah, listen, as we were saying, Greg, this is they're in Division 2. It's very much a new Donegal team. But listen, there's something about, you talk about the habit of winning or losing becomes a habit. At the minute, Donegal are unbeaten. So listen, as this team is getting to evolve and getting to find its strengths and weaknesses, you have, of course, a side that's saying now here, no one's going to beat us. So
tight run of games, though. Tight run of games to maintain that unbeaten record. We wish them well. Look forward to listening to your conversation on that this evening. And many people watching Donegal yesterday. I suppose it'd be very easy maybe to focus on Donegal, but I suppose we also need to recognise Galway. They got it right, didn't they? They played with the wind. They took their opportunities. They maximised these new rules. And were able to frustrate and lock the game down in the second half. What's your assessment of it, Brendan? What went on yesterday?
Yeah, listen, the conditions were shocking, Greg. Listen, when you play football in these conditions, and I don't think when we came in, the wind was going up and down a bit on the day. It wasn't as bad when we came in, but when we were leaving them, myself and Oisin, we were out in Salt Hill, and it was hard enough walking under the breeze. I was just thinking, imagine you now carrying and O'Neill's trying to go at full pelt and 2 or 3 Galway boys hanging off you, because the wind did seem to drop in the second half. Definitely did, Greg, So Galway made full use of it. Listen, they really went after Donegal, physically very strong. And with that breeze, particularly Shane Walsh, I've never seen, the first 5 kicks, all 2-pointers. It gave them such a platform at half time. And at the end of the day, the difference between the two sides in the end was the 2-pointed kicks of Galway. That was the difference exactly on the scoreline. So Donegal just couldn't get the grips with it second half. Listen, we did have a go. Galway were missing a few. Of course, we were missing. Listen, McBurdy, man of the match the last day. Ryan McHugh, man of the match the game before. Listen, Murphy wasn't there. Obviously, Langan, Big McGee. She had loads of players there that Donegal, maybe you could see already a small sense of Jim wasn't overly worried. No, nobody likes to lose.
But if you're looking to give people experience and for them to grow as players, is that the game? And I'm not questioning for a second Jim McGuinness's tactics. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't dare. But if you are looking to sort of give other boys a go, is that the kind of game and put them into the wind for the first half? Is that how they grow?
Well, listen, adversity is what creates. If they come into a handy game where Donegal's bossing it and you give it and back to me and he's loads of time and the likes of, say, McGillivray or Doherty, whoever, you're not going to learn in that. Galway really put Donegal under huge pressure, and that actually makes you grow as a player. I think from the week before, Donegal had it quite handy with Armagh at times building up. I couldn't believe how much Armagh backed off Donegal. So Galway did the direct opposite. They had the breeze and they just pinned Donegal in. And of course, even the sending off in the black cards with the modern rules now, teams still have their defensive cover.
Well, what are we going to do about that then? Because I mean, the whole idea of a card system is that you're disadvantaged because of foul play. The way it is now is, the way having to leave 3 up to effectively mark 1, that advantage doesn't seem to be there. I know it's very early days in these rules, but if a sending off and a black card at the same time doesn't seem to properly numerically disadvantage you, that's an obvious flaw, is it?
Yeah. See, it's a difficult one. The only place it affects you is out around the middle, Enric. You can't really get the ball. But once you try to take it into the danger zone, you will have a similar cover, almost, So it's hard to know how you're really penalised. Now, people say, of course, you can't play it about around the middle. You can be squeezed yourself. But in terms of your defensive shape, it's hard to know how it affects you. Of course, if your keeper, like the Galway one was coming up the last day, Donegal can't put a man on him then, if you like. But certainly what it used to be years ago, particularly when the game went in that modern phase, because teams were defending, you would get an overload then. Now it doesn't seem as much of a penalty, which... Again, Galway people say maybe the sending off was a small bit harsh, but it is an issue in the rules, all right?
What do we want? Do you plan now to try and avoid a potentially tough game ahead of the opening game in the championship? Like, is it about Division 1 survival? Is it a top 2 finish? Like, what? I can't imagine. Can you, a team, sort of trying to avoid that?
See, it's a difficult one. You can't go into a game thinking it doesn't matter. Because that's a very dangerous mindset. I mean, you can imagine Donegal's training during the week. It is blood and guts.
Yeah.
It is flat out. You can imagine the intensity of training. So you can't go into a game then and say, yeah, you know what, lads, just play out the fixture. Because that can't happen. So you still have to go. You still have to treat things right. You have to have your attitude and all that. But the thing is, as you said, with Derry coming down the tracks, we're obviously playing them in Ballyshannon next week. But that championship game, what's Donegal's priorities this year? It's to retain Ulster first and foremost, and it's to get one step further than last year, at least, which is All-Ireland final. So certainly, if you look at it yesterday with those players I mentioned, obviously Ryan, Patrick and Michael, there's no doubt in it that's a rest scenario. So it gives you the latitude to do that. So then Donegal supporters shouldn't be too worried. Kind of particularly away game, the Galway is the top team, that we lost that fixture. And I know I was chatting to Sean Patton actually this morning, and he said we never like losing. And I like that attitude towards it, because we don't forget that's Jim's first league game that he's lost since he came back. So Donegal have been brilliant in the league, but if there was one to lose, Greg, sitting on 6, losing away to Galway, as a Donegal fan, if you said to me at the start of the season, that's fine, let's beat Derry at home
and
now.
it kind of does have an asterisk on it because of the wind and everything else, all the factors. Here's a question for you: Why does the team that finished top of the league not just win the league? Like, we're talking now about the championship being pushed up against the league being pushed up against the championship. If you play all these top teams and you finish top, why should the team in second have an opportunity to finish ahead of you? It puts an extra game. Is it so that there's a showpiece game at the end of the league? I mean, the top team. Why are we having a playoff against 1 and 2? It's done. The best team tops the league.
A league's a league, Greg. The point of a league is that the team at the top wins it. Don't forget, it was only a few seasons ago where the top 4 played each other. You had semi-finals and then so the team who was 4th could actually end up league champions, which was a bit farcical when you think about it. But yeah, I think the GAA still had this thing of as you said, the showpiece day. But now when the season's condensed, nobody wants that league final. It's almost like a poison chalice now. I mean, obviously teams in Munster and Leinster, if it's Dublin or Kerry, for example, they don't mind playing it, because they're still usually, it's a good game for them because in their own province they're not going to have it. But certainly the Connacht teams and definitely the Ulster teams don't want to be anywhere near it. And sure, look what happened Derry last year in terms of 1 minute being highlighted as second favourites for the All-Ireland, 1 in the league, and then us doing what we did them in Celtic Park. So listen,
and that's what, because the two you do have to factor in is, and I think you talked about it, and it was against Galway again, if I'm not mistaken. Over the course of a long season, you do see it in the players' legs. When those extra games down the line. You know, at the very top level, Brendan, you know better than anyone, it's percentages, right? It's your 0.51. As long as no Derry players try and clean out Donegal players to make it handier for the championship, that's my concern for the weekend. But they're not that type of county; they wouldn't do that.
Right. Well, if you look at it now, Greg, black cards and yellow cards and reds as well have been halved from last year. So what's happening is with the new rules, players, I can't hardly get it. I know we had a few yesterday, which was unusual, obviously, but players aren't getting in close enough contact to get at people.
Yeah, good enough.
I think because of the conditions yesterday, Galway knew they could squeeze and chase Donegal down. Now, if that was on a normal playing pitch, Donegal would jink and go around those tackles, but because of the conditions, it meant that we were slower. It was harder to get the ball out. So then in came the tackles, so there was more maybe fouls and cards yesterday than normal. So that's been a big aspect of that as well, Greg, with the new rules, that players can't hardly get close to people enough, and that's why Shane Walsh was lording it yesterday. I mean, what do you do? He's outside the 45 with that breeze behind him. It's very hard to get close enough to someone to stop a kick like that.
Yeah, exactly. And the wind and the arc. And I just think that the management, Galway management, will write a biography of the day they maybe out tacticked Jim McGuinness. Maybe that'll be the story down the line. Former Donegal star Michael Hegarty, 1998 Galway midfielder. These are on tonight, aren't they? Because these are tonight's guests. Because last week I got weeks before guests. All right. Sean O'Donnell's in. Mary O'Donnell as well, reflecting on the women's side of things, and going to be an interesting chat with Captain Conor Garland on what seems to be a really interesting hurling journey. And I think I don't watch the Sunday game, but I think they got a decent mention last night as well. Brendan, listen, thank you so very much. And I don't know which of the young fellas in the back of that car, but he
Senan, say hello to Greg.
Hi, Senan.
Say hello.
Hey, Senan. He deserves a treat because he's been impeccable in his behaviour for such a young lad. Well done, Bren. See you. I might see you Friday before I see you Monday.
You will, yeah. We'll be suited and booted.
Okay, ready to go. All right, cheers, Brendan. Thank you. Brendan Devaney, the presenter of the DL Debate. That show is live for you after 7 this evening, and then it can be podcasted very shortly after, or whenever you want to listen to it at your leisure. A lot of talk about, obviously the senior footballers missing out to go away yesterday. I think that's to say it's a bit of it's going to have an asterisk on it, that result. But the Donegal women, reflecting on their draw away to Roscommon, and the story of the weekend, the Donegal hurlers beating Kerry, a historic victory for them. Great to hear Donegal hurlers getting a mention on the Sunday game last night, says the listener. So the bad weather yesterday only affected Donegal. I watched the match and Donegal just weren't at the match. Looking at Galway's performance, Donegal will not beat this Galway team this year. In fact, I believe Galway will be lifting Sam in July. I don't gamble, but I will have a friendly tanner with you on a good dry day in a game that means a bit more. Donegal will do a big job on Galway. A caller says it was a terrible day for football and the wind did ease in the second half, but with these new rules, with them only with 13 players most of the second half, you wouldn't think it. Indeed. Love your comments. Keep them coming in to us.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
So he was like messaging me all night and then he just ghosted me. No way. Yeah. He was like, "You're so hot, I want to come over." Okay. And I was like, "Cool." And he was like, "I'm on my way, driving over right now."
And then?
Nothing.
Phone use while driving can be deadly. Your phone, it won't kill you to put it away. From the Road Safety Authority, visit rsa.ie.
If that tickle in your throat has turned into a nasty cough, or if you're just feeling a bit under the weather, at McGee's Chemist we understand. From the right cough bottle to pain relief or throat lozenges, we've everything you'll need to get you back on your feet. Our pharmacists and experienced staff are always ready to offer advice and help you find the right solutions. Don't suffer in silence. Visit McGee's Chemist today. McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny, for healthcare help and advice you can always trust.
Restex Beds, celebrating 50 incredible years of helping you dream better, sleep deeper and wake up refreshed. For half a century, we've been your trusted partner in comfort and innovation. And now, introducing the new Glenveigh mattress, designed with cutting-edge technology for ultimate support and luxurious comfort. It's the perfect way to celebrate our golden anniversary with the best sleep of your life. Visit Restex Beds today and experience 50 years of excellence. Restex Beds. Leave the rest to us.
With 2025 in full swing, it's time to buy a brand new Kia at iMotors. Come down for a test drive and check out all the new models in stock. Diesel, hybrid and fully electric, including the all-new Kia EV3, which supports ultra-fast charging, allowing you to charge up to 80% in just 30 minutes with a fast charger. There's 0% finance on all EVs, plus the Sportage and Nero PHEV. All Kia cars come with a 7-year warranty and all trade-ins are welcome. Visit iMotors in Donegal to test drive the very latest from Kia today.
iMotors. Fearless generation.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
it's 23 minutes past 11 in studio with me. I have Cara O'Doherty. Hi, Cara.
Hiya.
Good to have you with us. Also, sitting to your left, Anna Rose Diver. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And last but not least, we've Mark Bradley. How are you, Mark?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to have you with us. All right, now you three are working together. Is it just you three? Is there more of a team?
There's more of a team.
Huh?
More of a team.
Okay. And you are focusing on transport impacts for young people. Who wants to give me an overview of it? I'll leave it up to you. Who? Yeah, it looks like it's going to be you, Anna Rose.
Okay.
So what's the basis of the project?
So we want to get free transport for all under 18s. Basically, we kind of decided we wanted to do it because we know how much free transport would impact us. So, we're all from rural Donegal and we all kind of understand buses aren't easy to get. First of all, there's not enough routes, but second of all, it is quite costly. It can be anywhere between €4 and a tenner to get a return from the Fanad to Letterkenny route.
And if you're intending to use that on a regular basis, it doesn't belong adding up.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So if we had free transport, then it would just change the game. It would make it so much easier to get into Letterkenny. But it would also it would be such a load off our parents because, you don't want to be transporting your kids back and forth.
Well, also, too, you want a little bit of independence, don't
you?
You know what I mean? And it doesn't always have to be about car ownership. And, Mark, this is not just something you have come up with, right? So you conducted a survey in this regard to get a view of a lot of young people's opinions. And so what were the key findings from your perspective?
Yes.
Other than we should have free access to... You should have free access to public transport.
Yeah, so we carried out a survey with our year and we found out that 95.8% of our year would have used public transport and 28.9% use it every week. So we depend greatly on public transport and we have 6.7% of that majority who use it every day. So and then 70.8% said that they would use it if it were free.
How many? Sorry, 70?
70.8%.
Wow, okay. Yeah, because obviously you can look at buses and are they at capacity? These buses are running anyway. Why not incentivize young people to get on them? So in terms of the costs, Cara, we heard from Anna Rose there, right? Are there student fares available? So say you wanted to get on Rural Link from Fanad to Letterkenny, right? You always will have to pay, of course, yeah?
Yeah, there's an app, TFI Go, and it's 50% off at the minute, so it is for students to get a bus ticket up, and then you have to pay the same to come back.
Yeah, so and that would be at least €4.
Yeah.
Okay, as you say, if you wanted to do that a few times a week, you're still tapping up your parents, aren't you? And Anna Rose, did you study? You talked about how that we need more buses. Were these questions based on the routes that are already there, if you know what I mean? So whilst obviously we'd always want more buses, right? Is there a sense that the routes are pretty much okay and we'd use them more if it wasn't so expensive?
Yeah, so at the start we kind of did want to look at improving how many routes there are as well as getting free transport. But we kind of decided then that we wanted to look mostly at getting free transport and we would just make use of the routes like how they are. So the route goes from Fanad to Letterkenny through Rathmullen and Ramelton. Now there is no local link in Tomacrannan, but we didn't really mind that. We kind of thought like those routes are usable if we get free transport.
Well, you see, the thing is if you start having busier buses, then you start providing extra routes, don't you? Because it's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah,
you know, you don't put the routes on because... and Cara, how much of a consideration was the environment in reality? And we don't have to say is if it isn't, because I was up there in your school not so long ago when they wanted to put a lot of questions to different politicians, and climate didn't come up on it, right? So we can't presume every younger person's, you know, I mean, it doesn't mean they don't care, but maybe pressure on the parents' independence is more important. It's fine if it is, but did this survey give any sense of motivation? Was it mostly about money?
It was about money, but it was also about the environment as well.
Yeah.
Because if people aren't getting buses, then their parents are driving them places, which is more bad fuel for the environment.
Yeah, for sure. And also, Mark, you know, we were talking about independence. It's very tough to get on the road now. So whilst you are talking as, are you in transition year, are you?
Yeah.
So while you are talking to transition year students, you know, say you want to study in LYIT, for an example, or you don't want to go to third level, but you want to be able to commute in and out of the place. You know, this could be into your late teens, into your early 20s. For some, it's too expensive to put a car on the road.
Yeah, it takes a lot, and you know, it's hard with getting a license, so...
We're getting a test.
Yeah, test. It's just...
I can
we
get you a
rely on
license,
buses a
wink,
lot.
wink, but...
Yeah.
Right, okay. And Anna Rose, you worked with Councillor Declan Meehan on this. He's a Milford councillor, of course. So what was the interaction with him about? What did he bring to the party?
So we set up a meeting with him, and he came into the school, and we kind of explained the project, but this was back when we didn't really have a lot of an idea like how to go about it. We didn't really know like who to contact, where to go. And he came in and he was absolutely fantastic. Like he just gave us like, he really backed the project, like he really did believe in it.
Yeah.
And then he really did give us like loads of advice, like who to contact. He gave us emails, like everything. He really told us like how to go about the project.
Yeah, because you can have an idea, can't you? It's how do you turn that idea into where you're at now, because very soon you will be presenting this project to YSI judges. So what's the basis of that? Who wants to talk to me a little bit about the presentation? I'll stick with you just whilst I'm talking to you, Anna Rose. So what is the presentation about?
So it's Young Social Innovators, and we go down to Sligo, and there's judges there, and you go up on stage and you have a 2-minute speak out based on your project.
Who got that short straw?
I'm actually doing
it. Okay.
But there's 4 of us actually going up.
All right, not so bad.
But yeah, so we go up and we give a presentation based on our project, and we explain to the judges, and they give awards out then at the end or whatever.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. But also it's about these conversations though, isn't it? It's about young people speaking about stuff that affects them. And Cara, you know, like with the best will in the world, great success in Sligo, I hope coming up soon, but you also want to affect change, don't you? This is actually about saying, look, we're the young people, we've done the research, this is what young people want. Will you listen to us?
Yeah, we hope that people will listen to us, and that if we don't get free transport for under 18s, we'll get more routes. But hopefully we do win in Sligo, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And Mark, it should be a no-brainer, shouldn't it? Because, as I say, you know, we are talking about the environment. We are a rural county, but we've got people on a peninsula and in an area that are saying, look, if you make this more affordable, we will actually use it, because it saves the parents that runs in the car, you know, if we're going to talk about the environment.
Yeah, well, I know, like, I use Local Link nearly every week, or, like, because my parents are working late, so it's hard to... and like asking for money just like isn't.
Yeah, but it's nice for you as a younger person to say, right, I'm getting on this bus, I'm going somewhere.
Yeah, just kind of
under my own steam, isn't it? Because it gives you confidence as well. Not that you need confidence. I mean, you as younger people, you're. This is kind of unrelated, but not, I suppose. I got a bus from Letterkenny to Dublin. It took 5 hours. And the one way was almost €30. Okay, right. Okay, so. We've talked about every element of this. The survey, is there anything else that you want to talk about that I haven't picked up on here? Because you are the ones that have been working on this for quite some time.
Well, do you want to talk about like what we've done?
Of course
so
I
far?
do.
Yeah. So after the Declan Meehan...
Do you want to sit here and I'll just go out and you can do the whole bloody thing? Go ahead, after the Declan Meehan meeting.
So after the Declan Meehan meeting, we went and we contacted local TDs and senators.
Yes.
2 of them got back to us, Charlie McConnell Logue and Pat the Cope Gallagher. So Pat the Cope has emailed Dara O'Brien, the Minister for Transport, who then advised him to go on and email the National Transport Authority. So him and Charlie McConnell both passed our email on to the NTA, and I emailed Local Link as well, and they've passed on our email to the NTA. So we got to talk to the NTA then about like what their plans are for the future. So we got an email back, and they were telling us like loads of information, giving us information on like the fares determination and like the free fare analysis of 2022. And they told us that they have no current plans to, you know, push forward free transport for under 18s. But it was really helpful to get that like email sent, because we didn't know like half of that information.
Did you get a sense from the likes of Charlie McConnell and Pat the Cope Gallagher that they supported the notion of free transport for under 18s?
Yeah, in their email they seemed to back it, and they were happy enough to send it on forward. So they seemed pretty happy with our budget.
All right. But where do you go from here? Or do you feel that you know, but you've contacted the politicians, you've got in contact with the NTA, Dara O'Brien knows about this? I mean, do you feel, Mark, there's anywhere else you can take this? I'm not saying it's a defeat, right? Because it's keeping it on the agenda, but do you feel there's anywhere else you can go, or is that the end of the line from this project's perspective?
I feel like we can put a bit more work into it, just in terms of like finding out more information, seeing like what more we can do, because like we are very passionate about it. And we have, like, Local Link has offered to give us leap cards for us as a group.
What does that mean?
Like, leap cards, just kind of like at a reduced rate.
I hope they're not trying to buy your silence, are they?
No.
Is it only for you guys? I'm only joking, don't answer that. I'm only joking, whoever gave them leap cards. I'm not suggesting anything going on. And I suppose, you know, you talked about Declan Meehan's backing, and that's fantastic, and maybe he already has done this or has plans for it. You know, a motion in the council supporting what you guys are doing, and that being second, and maybe then the council writing to the likes of the NTA. You know, who's to say that couldn't help to progress this further? Well, listen, it's I think it's a fantastic initiative, and I think it's always best, I think, when the people affected by an issue are the ones that speak about it, right, rather than other people speaking on their behalf. And I wish you the best of success down in Sligo, but I think you've already done a fantastic job. Anna Rose, anything else I've missed out, or is that good? No, all right, brilliant. Okay, well, listen, Cara O'Doherty, thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate you coming in. Anna Rose Diver and Mark Bradley, all three as well done. It's brilliant stuff. And is there anywhere that this has been published? So where can people check it out?
We got on Donegal Daily online, and then we got on the Tirconnell Tribune.
Brilliant.
And the Donegal Democrat.
Okay, well, now you've hit the big time. You've been on Highland. I'm going to mess and love guys at those two outlets. All right, take care of yourself, Anna Rose, Mark, and Cara. We'll be back with more on the programme after this break.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Want to work with the very best? Then make the all-new Nissan Interstar your next recruit. It's first impressions that count, and the Nissan Interstar doesn't disappoint. With a brand new, eye-catching grille and jaw-dropping design. And with a stronger-than-ever payload, it has the power to match your ambition. Available now in electric and diesel versions. Let the world know you mean business with the all-new Nissan Interstar. Contact your local dealer or visit nissan.ie. Nissan. Defy ordinary.
Get the right tools or equipment to get any job sorted with the great weekend deal at Watson Hire in Letterkenny. Hire any tools or equipment on a Friday for 1 day, and they're yours to use until Monday. 3 days hire for the price of one at Watson Hire every weekend. Get the job done and dusted with this great weekend hire deal at Watson Hire Lisnain in Letterkenny. Call 916-7777 or see watsonhire.ie.
Make perfect pancakes every time with Dunnes Stores. Whip up a batch with fresh eggs, 6 for €1.39. Or choose an 8-pack of large buttermilk pancakes, just €2.50. Then add your favourite toppings like a sprinkle of sugar with 49-cent lemons, or chocolate and hazelnut spread, 400-gram jar, only €1.50. And for that finishing touch, you can save at the till with a 5 off 25 grocery voucher. Dunnes Stores. Always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used on next in-store grocery shop of €25 or more.
Monster Bingo every Tuesday night at Mulroy Woods Hotel. €3,300 must go with €1,000 on the last page. Doors open 7:30. Bingo starts at 8:30. That's Monster Bingo this and every Tuesday night at Mulroy Woods Hotel, Milford.
Back to the pitch with Brian McCormick Sports. Football boots for all ages. Adidas Copa Pure Pro in real soft leather. It's a must try on. Adidas Predator Pro in soft ground. The perfect boot for extra grip on pitch. Boots for kids in Velcro or lace with all your training essentials, gum shields, shorts and compression tops. Look the part, play the part. In store and online. Click on bmcsports.ie.
Are you looking for a university that's more than just a place to study?
At ATU, you'll enjoy a vibrant student life, exciting career opportunities and a supportive community every step of the way.
Join ATU's Open Day on the Letterkenny campus on Saturday the 1st of March from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Get expert tips for Leaving Certificate students from Donegal Mahoney, along with special talks for parents and sessions on health and wellbeing.
Come along and see how you can be part of it all. Visit atu.ie/opendays.
ATU, your future is here.
Now we're joined on the programme by Antoinette Keegan of the Families of Stardust Victims. Antoinette, thank you so much for your time this morning. I do appreciate it.
Good morning, Greg, and thank you for having me on your radio.
And our listeners will know that you lost your sisters Mary and Martina in the Stardust nightclub tragedy, which claimed 48 lives in 1981. Lifetime away, Antoinette. And, you know, sometimes I think when people like you, you're so vocal and you speak publicly, it'd be, I hope we don't forget that you're also still struggling with the loss, which I'm sure is raw and you feel every day too on a personal level. So our thoughts continue to be with you in that regard.
Thank you very much. I was also a survivor that night as well, and like what I witnessed, I'll never forget. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've done this for 43 years, to like help and like do whatever I can, right, to get justice for the 48. And like that, I'm fully in support with the families of the Creaslock disaster as well. I think it's disgraceful what's happening.
When the details of the tragedy emerged, and we'll fast forward afterwards, Antoinette, did it resonate with you as we learned of the very tragic passing of 10 people? And now we're talking about an investigation that's still ongoing, a public inquiry that families are beginning to fight for, and now we have a planning application approved for that site, all within 3 years of the tragedy actually happening. Do you see a lot of sort of similarities in some of the battles you've had to fight?
100%. It echoes everything like that we've gone through with Stardust, right? Like the planning applications going in, the demolition happening, and all this was like while it was an ongoing investigation going on, and nothing should, like our crime scene was actually interfered with the day after, on the 14th of February. We had our late Taoiseach walking in and other people walking around it, and that should have been a crime scene closed off. The flaws right from the what's called it, the relevant authorities in the planning authorities, right, insofar as like granting permission, right, and then like every step of the way we had to go and put objection and keep doing it, right, till like that we got like what we were looking for. We never gave up, and insofar as that, like we are supporting the Creaslock, and if we can in any way put an objection in, we will absolutely 100% back them on any application or anything that they want us to do.
Antoinette, you talked of the site being, you talked of contamination of the Stardust site, but it also being cleared far too quickly at that time. And I'm sorry to bring you back to that time, but how quickly did the bulldozers, in inverted commas, move in after the Stardust tragedy?
Well, it wasn't long after, because the investigation had come back like it was probable arson, and that was in November 1982, I think it was, 1981, and then we had the inquest in March 82, 2 minutes like per victim, and that was only a medical cause. So it wasn't long after the whole site of the Stardust was actually demolished. Now the front entrance part where everyone went in, that was all left there. But like with all our objections and everything else, right, over the years, one thing that was specific in our dealing with Dublin City Council was that site would never be built on again, and it hasn't been. They have it as a car park, and we have our memorial wall there, but it has never ever been built again in 43 years, and we pushed for that. And we also pushed, insofar as any developments that's happening on the site, on the starter site, the families have to be informed and let know. It can't happen right without them knowing.
I think too, I suppose the insight you can give us, and you have been giving us, Antoinette, is the personal experience, you being a survivor of it, but also the personal loss. What does it feel like when you're going through that and dealing with that, but you see, the wheels moving in other directions, that there is this sort of sense that you haven't got the answers, you can't move on really until you have, but everyone else seems to be getting on with their lives or development? Because what we often hear is that from people, and I understand they're well-meaning people, that life must go on, that, that Creasla needs a petrol station, and this is the site for it, and we must move forward as well. As a victim who is so personally affected by it, can you remember how that made you feel back, I suppose, through the 80s?
Yeah, I can remember very clearly, while we were still, going through horrendous grief and loss of our loved ones, people, that owned the place, the owners, right, was always putting profit before people, and rubbing the salt into the wounds. And every step of the way, a concrete wall, right, but you get back up and you fight again. It was a long journey, and it was a difficult journey, but never let anything step in your way, and just continue until you get what you want. And I think it's very wrong and insensitive of the owners of the garage to actually go and propose to build it again.
The company, I get where
I
you're
think
coming
it's very
from.
insensitive.
Yeah.
It's very insensitive to the families of the deceased. 4 deceased men, 3 deceased women, and 3 deceased children. Now, I did speak to Anya Flanagan and Donna Harper, and they're still grieving very badly from this. They lost their daughter Shauna and Leona, and Anya actually lost her partner. You can't actually go and do something like this. Feelings and the hurt that the families are going through. Consideration has to be taken, and it has to be very carefully and has to be very carefully considered, and bring the families of the deceased in and talk to them and tell them what the plans are, and see what they want, right, and let them be involved in it as well. It's very, very difficult to do without the families' input, because at the end of the day, these are the families that have suffered, not quite financially, but personally. Okay. And it shouldn't be profit before people. It should be consideration of what them families are going through. And it's disgraceful what the councils are doing on them.
But of course, the council can only consider planning matters. I do wonder sometimes if we should have some sort of provision in planning that can accommodate personal views or feelings or matters like this. Antoinette, thank you so much. Yeah, go ahead, Antoinette.
Well, surely some of the councillors, right, that is from the area that represents the families, right, they should have had an input and should have informed the families of what was going on and given their support to say, no, we're objecting to it.
All right, Antoinette, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. Antoinette Keegan of Families of Stardust Victims. And we heard from, actually, Councillor Paul Canning last week talking about not wanting to interfere with the process and not actually being able to comment for fear of that being held against the process. Right, okay. A caller says, you know what, I'll take a little break because I don't want to just go straight from that subject to another. So I'm going to take a short break and I will be right back. Stay where you are.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Are you looking for a powerful, high-performance laptop? Think green and save big with Ben Sweeney Euronics. Discover refurbished Lenovo ThinkPads that look and feel like new with Windows 11 pre-installed and a rock-solid 3-year warranty for total peace of mind. Why pay full price when you can save up to 70% and do your part for the planet by choosing sustainable tech? Find yours today at Ben Sweeney Euronics, Port Road, Letterkenny, and the shopping centre, Dunloe.
Open your future by attending Northwest Regional College Open Days. This is the opportunity to visit your local campus and tour the fabulous facilities, sample the college experience and apply for your course. Running from 12 noon each day beginning 25th of February, Strabane campus, 26th of February, Strand Road and Springtown campuses, and 27th of February, Limavady and Greystone campuses. Register online to attend for your chance to win a high-spec laptop. Northwest Regional College Open Days. From here to career.
Keep out the cold, cold, cold! And ring Fleming for their full range of garage doors, agri doors, insulated doors, milking parlour doors. Fleming, 91 48 234.
Luxury is not merely seen or heard or even touched. True luxury is experienced. It lies in the minute details that elevate the ordinary into the extraordinary. It's quiet spoken, but leaves a lasting impression. You know it when you feel it. Luxury begins with L. Lexus. Experience amazing. Discover the all-electrified range at Lexus Letterkenny.
Enjoy real savings this week at SuperValue. Like SuperValue Fresh Irish Sirloin Steak, now better than half price. Scan your card or app and get Nestle Cheerios, now €3. Fairy Non-Bio and Ariel 3-in-1 Pods 58-piece, now €10. And pick up Cushelle Toilet Tissue 12-roll, now €9. Make real savings every week at SuperValue.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenny's. Our new season special occasion wear range is here. Visit us to explore our extensive dress collection in store or shop online at mcelhennys.com today.
Okay, so the weather's middling here in Letterkenny right now, hopefully where you are, but there will be more widespread heavy showers spreading from the west this afternoon. Some of hail with scattered thunderstorms. Showers will become more scattered again this evening, highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees. In moderate to fresh southwest winds. Now, tonight, a mix of clear spells and scattered showers. Some showers will be heavy with a further chance of hail and isolated thunderstorms. Lowest temperatures of 2 to 4 degrees in moderate to fresh westerly winds. I've been asked to mention that Convoy Community and Environment Committee need you. They're asking, are you interested in gardening, history and heritage, environmental issues? Have you ideas to improve Convoy? Well, if you do, please get along to the annual general meeting, Black Memorial Hall, Tuesday, the 25th of February. That's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. All are welcome. And I don't know the ins and outs of the Convoy Community Environment Committee, but if they're in like all other committees, you've got a core of really, good, hard-working people, and they love to see new people coming in with fresh ideas, fresh perspectives, and there'll be a big welcome if you have an interest in improving Convoy, and you can bring in some of those skill sets, gardening, history, heritage, environment, etc. So that's tomorrow night in the Black Memorial Hall at 8 p.m. Before I get to comments, I just want to let you know that time is short if you're interested in going to Highland Radio's 35th birthday bash. The station is 35 years old this year. It really is quite remarkable. I've been here for over 20 of them. I still feel like a blow-in, for some reason. I don't know. It's me. I'm sure it's not how I'm treated. It's certainly me, but I do feel like, you move into a place and time goes so quickly, but still it feels like yesterday as well. What that has to do with music, I have no idea. But we have some of the very best of country music. Dominic Kerwin, Jimmy Buckley, Michael English, Patrick Feeney, Hugo Duncan, Claudia Buckley, David James. And David James has a new band. I'm not sure if you've heard, but he has a new band. They'll be there as well, as will Conal Gallen bringing the laughs. It's all on Monday, the 31st of March. It's at the Mount Errigal Hotel, and tickets are just €30. And there is also a package available as well, by the way, so you can stay over at the Mount Errigal Hotel, and you think you get dinner in the bar or restaurant, your night stay, your ticket, and brekkie the next morning. Give us a buzz here at the station, 07491 25000 for more information in relation to that. Mary Doherty is with me now. Hi, Mary.
Oh, hello, Greg. How are you?
Nice
Thanks very much for having me on.
No, it's our pleasure. You were commenting about Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance.
Yes, I was listening to his speech with on the Munich Security Council last week sometime, and he was very critical of Britain and Europe from retreating away from some of their most fundamental values, like conscience and religious rights, freedom of speech and democracy. And he was particularly concerned about a man who was praying silently outside an abortion clinic and being convicted and fined. and about the right wing and right left people not allowed to speak at the Security Council or conference. So I was hoping that that would help us now to speak, because people have been frightened to speak up for these values because of political correctness and hate crime and all the rest. And I was hoping that Europe would take note, and especially our government here, that they will stand up for these values and not. They keep abiding by the rules of the EU. These what do you call them? Liberal elites that are trying to take away these values from us. So I was hoping that now that maybe we'd have more confidence to speak up.
And do you see that to a return to traditional values, Mary? Do you see that as a research in the church's influence in Irish society?
No, I don't see it as not in the church. I see it from this man. It's only from this man Vance who's able to speak out. I don't see it happening in the church. No.
Yeah,
but I think we do.
Yeah. I just wonder who do you see as sort of steering the standing up for religious beliefs, a return to family values as you see it? Who do you think is whose hands on the tiller? Is it a government? Is it a...
Well, the government should be. I believe the government, they're going out to Europe, they should be standing up for those values for our people and not going along with everything that the EU says or makes laws on. I was just encouraged by V.G. Vance speaking up against it, and I was hoping that his speech would do something.
Yeah, but they are words, though, and I suppose actions speak louder than words, Mary. And I suppose in the United States,
yes,
Donald Trump has said that, and Donald Trump is Vance's boss, effectively. In terms of the abortion issue, he says it's up to each state. He says he wants to give the states the right to choose. It's up to them if they want to have abortion, so be it. If they don't, they don't. He's not sort of expressed a preference in that regard. That was certainly now and also during his election campaign. So they're not necessarily doing themselves in America what you believe, we should take from the words of Europe.
No, but I'm concerned with this speech thing as well. I mean, there's political correctness, and it's taken away our right to speak. Yeah, we can speak, but if you don't speak the words of the liberal elite, then, or the liberal groups, then
yes,
you're not accepted. We're called names. If you stand up for family values, you're called names
right,
like
of course, but Mary,
you're right wing.
All right, but we don't do that on this show. What do you feel you can't say, if you know what I mean? People talk about freedom of expression. Like, what is it? I'm not asking you to say, because I'm not trying to paint you into that corner, Mary. But what freedom do you not have now, do you feel, in terms of expression or being able to state what you want to say or your feelings? Like, what's not there at the moment?
It's not there because you can't talk about what we feel that we need to stand up more for family, for the family life, and that's not happening.
Did we not have that whole debate during the last referenda where there was some suggestion that, the words woman could be removed from the Constitution? Did we not have an open, robust debate and then people voted the way they wanted to?
Yes, but it's not enough. It's not enough. We need this challenged. It needs to be challenged properly, and not just on the radio. This needs to be challenged where it's happening, and I believe it's coming from the EU. They're making those laws, and he's mentioned that those rights are being taken from us, our fundamental rights.
What rights?
You can't
what
stand
rights?
out. That man was.
But Mary,
was stand outing.
Sorry, yes.
That he spoke about.
Okay, just in case.
That man was standing with his head bowed.
Understood. Yeah, just in case people aren't aware, Mary, sorry to cut across you. This was a gentleman who there's exclusion zones for protest outside abortion centres, and he was standing outside one with his head bowed, his hands together, and he was praying for the son he lost. But because there's an exclusion zone, so you believe people should be able to protest outside abortion clinics?
I believe you should, yes, but the man standing silently with his head bowed, he wasn't talking to anybody, he wasn't annoying anybody. That's the thing that we're talking about. Why can't we?
I will say that did happen in UK, which is not governed by the EU laws. But
yes, but there's two people in the north, the same thing's happening to.
Okay.
There's two people. There's a woman who's already been convicted and fined, and there's a pastor, I believe, also.
Right. And if you're going,
those are the things they're taking away.
If you're going to the GPs or doctors, you think people should be able to protest at the front door as you go in?
They're not protesting. They're standing silently.
Okay.
Those are civil liberties, are they not?
Yes, no, I'm not disputing it. I'm just teasing it out with you, Mary. Unfortunately, we're right against the clock. We shall speak again. And you know what? People might listen to you and say, right, I want to speak on that too. 086 60 25,000, the WhatsApp and text number. Mary Doherty, thank you very much indeed. As I say, I hope I don't come across as disagreeing or agreeing with Mary. It's just to try and further tease out the conversation.